So welcome, everyone, to our session. We are down an Amric and a Rachatonite, but they are still with the party, and I will play them if need be, if things arise as such. Unfortunately, you guys lose your metal friend and your smartest friend right as you're about to jump into the riddle. So, this is always a fun time. Regardless, though, let's recap a little bit of last session. You guys had gotten to the south shore of the island after dealing with the town of Nowhere and the god that trampled the remains of it. A lot of heated discussions were had between individuals in the party, and just like most heated discussions that happen with the group, they never actually came to any solid fruition. It's more pointing out everyone's flaws and then going, yep, and then continuing on. So, we continue on. But you got to the South Shore, and according to the riddle, you guys knew you needed to go south. There were a couple options as to what south may be, and so a raft was starting to be created. during this time, some investigating in the nearby water and land, sea, and air of the possibilities of seeing anything that might allude to the path that they're supposed to take or something that may become the path for them. Unfortunately, nothing was noticed, but the raft was completed as nightfall approached. You guys got to witness the interesting equator aurora borealis that exists here, and as the tide sunk heavily into the water, a sandbar formed and stretched from as far as the eye could see in a southerly direction, and you all understood this to be the path laid out before you to take to get to the southern island. So Amric was the motorboat to the raft, just in case, and you guys got to the precipice edge of the drop-off where this sandbar excursion then turns into a death fall of a water slide. You guys went down, and just as all things do with this group, shenaniganry ensued. Choices were made. Whether they were good, whether they were bad, is yet to be understood, but with some quick thinking, everyone was able to ride the collapsing tunnel of Surfing Wave all the way to the end of the enchantment before it completely destroyed itself, and found yourselves in an underground cavern in one of the islands. You made your way up, and Polly, being the one in front, poked his head above, saw the interesting sort of tent creation that you guys had in front of you, the throne of bones and the hodgepodge of different furniture and travel accoutrement, and a voice rang out, welcoming the group to her location. You guys found out and met the vessel of Trilithia on this plane, a Valkyrie woman that eventually Bryn recognized as the daughter of one of her, I guess, would a long old-time friend. With that, some questions were had. Racha made his appearance as he was hiding in the shadows, and as she was recounting the story of Illinade, he appeared himself behind the throne to give you all the surprise good news that he is alive and has ascended to godhood, and got to have a probably the last one-on-one conversations with all of you. What he said soothed some and worried others, but that's usually that's his MO, so. And Bryn, to actually answer your question, he was the god of neutrality and dancing, but now that he is the god of the material plane, which is his overall title, until this other possible god, which you guys have learned about, might come into fruition, his subtitle, therefore, is the god of destiny and dancing. So, with Illinade having a little bit of a one-on-one with pretty much everyone here, he cured Racha of the curse put upon him, so he can now speak freely, which you guys get to witness that again. Soothed Bryn's mind on not only the prophecy and some of the decisions made, but also wiped her mind of all the insanity problems that she had been receiving, as well as Trilithia removing Sigrun as a problem from the group and primarily from Bryn. As the mirror broke, Sigrun was able to escape Trilithia's grasp in the end, but she is now no longer plaguing Bryn.
I have a question.
Plague others.
A question, Val. Did you mean to make him the god of D and D?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just glad you saw that.
You're welcome.
So, he gave a stern talking to Capernaum. Not a shellacking, just a warning. not of threat of death or anything, but that actions have consequences, and you've definitely given your dad an upgrade.
Upgrade, people, upgrade.
He gave Nori some insight into a certain individual that wanted to have a conversation with her. Told Polly what the truth of what happened between his mother and him and the Ice Queen, as well as what was going on with Laverne and Otis currently, with Otis being completely healed, and both of them now being followers of Illinate. And then he went on and awkwardly poked Amric for about 15-20 minutes, just inspecting all that he is and slightly interrogating Bella as to some of the information. After that, though, he had to make his departure. He wanted to give you all one last face-to-face, ease your minds about him and about some of the other things, and give some clarification on some things that were going on in the world and where things reside. But with that, he made his departure, and you guys were left with Trilithia. The possibility of questions to be asked, but the assurance of a safe space for you guys to bed down for the night. Little conversations were had, either between each other or with Trilithia herself, but eventually you all got to sleep, and in the morning woke up to no Trilithia, all of the furniture and trunks and cases pushed up and behind a barrier behind the throne, but a teleportation circle etched into the floor in the middle of the tent, almost fully completed for whenever you were ready. Now, Kaporin, using teleportation circles when he was a bard, he understood that it was just short of being complete, and notified you all. Everyone got ready, took their positions, and Kaporin finished the circle. A blinding flash of light, a swirl of color, and you guys found yourselves on the north shore of an island. Nori quickly looked around and was able to see a very large island in the distance to the north, and so she realized that if you had to look at the set of islands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you guys were on the 5th island on the north shore. And that's where we resume. Besides Nori checking out the island immediately nearby, actually, let me move this a little bit so it's not, because I'm super zoomed in. Boop. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that now that you guys know what island you're on. About 45 feet of gravelly and darker sand than at least the island that you guys had not just left, but left that prior night. A thick, dense forest resides in front of you, and we are talking like oak thick of trees. Definitely not natural to a tropical climate, and a lot more harrowing for the majority of you guys to look forward, except for Amric and Nori, who are kind of like, oh, this is a forest. As you guys have been dealing with more tropical trees and such. Nori, if you look far and wide, you might be able to find a 5-foot wide tree.
Best believe I'm looking far and wide, buddy.
But I'm making that perception check a good one.
I have speak with animals and speak with plants stocked. I am all for looking for this tree.
It's gonna be great.
I can make you re-roll it once.
It does seem, though, that all the trees are capped at a height, even though some of the trunks may vary in size. The trees are capped at roughly 45 feet, as if either someone or something keeps them from growing any further. But this mostly gravel and rocky shore resides in front of you. Early morning, and to give context of what day it is, It is Quattro of the first week of Gostrinsar. So Gostrinsar is the last month of the cold season. Roughly, you guys are at about 8 a.m. Breakfast can be had. Oh no, you guys had breakfast in Trilithians before you left. So breakfast has already been had. As Koparin finishes his last quarter of a bagel.
I love my bagel.
Amric finishes
I
off
have 2 bagels.
the last couple. Oh, he's saved them. They are not the healthiest looking bagels. They've been underwater. They've been.
You need to throw those away.
They've been there for months.
No, there's bagels in that town that you guys were at just 4 days ago.
Yes, because week-old bagels are better.
They're only like 2 days old, technically.
4.
4 days old. A week's 8.
And slightly salty after being in the ocean water for a while.
Extra flavor.
Sea salt bagels.
Natural flavor.
You're being yoinked by 2 octopi?
They were everything bagels, and now they're just sea salt bagels.
Delicious.
But Amric finishes the last cup of copper that he was munching on. And the forest and island lay before you all.
What's your riddle say?
Well, we've made it this far. So, from the North Shore beach, follow the sun. Keep an eye out for trees to which death has hung.
And where are we on this island?
The North Shore.
Not the most northern shore, but...
No, you are on the most northern shore.
Oh, we are?
The very
We're here?
northernmost tip.
Oh, okay.
Of the 5th island, not the 4th island.
Oh, okay, here.
The one that runs north to south.
Got it.
Right, is that 2 islands next to each other?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I'm confused.
Yeah, that's why I said when you guys landed, Nori was able to, with her perception, see the other island in the distance.
Okay. So we're on this northern...
So we're at this part, almost where they're touching,
Yeah,
or where the green and the okay.
yeah. We're the closest point between the 2 islands.
So, follow the sun. I guess we have to head due south?
Val, because I genuinely don't remember how this is. The sunrise north to south,
South
or
to
south
north.
to north?
So it's a straight line up and down. For the most part.
For the most part.
So theoretically, it's south.
Currently now, yes.
Probably gets a major Earth and Marsh vibe. Head south.
No. No, it's
Yeah,
Bryn's
that's any
north.
direction, really. But it doesn't say anything about what time of day.
I'm assuming we have to walk through the trees, which is to the south of us, since it's warning us about them. Can I do a perception, or can I do a check for examining the tops of the trees? Is there like something...
Are you just looking from your position, going up with your boots?
Yeah, staying on the beach side, but just going kind of...
Make a perception check.
As Kaporn is that, so he wants to go south. Is that
Apparently.
Spain?
One thing that you pick
Yeah.
up comparing is, like I said, this is a thick forest.
Mhm.
I think Nori, you obviously don't get slowed down by traveling through any difficult terrain, but you're not the type of druid that gives it to everybody as well. No, that's ranger, right? So Nori would be able to slip and slide through the trees without a problem, but everyone else, this is difficult terrain. That's how close and thick these trees are. So as you look up into the canopy, the trees are like It's almost as if they're embracing one another. All the branches are growing through and between the other branches of the trees next to them, because there really is not enough room for them to fully be out, and these branches are reaching out to try and gather as much sun as they can. But all the trees do look healthy, which is not concerning for you, Nori, since it is an island and they would have obviously access to a lot of water all the time, so that would assist in the growth. But you, as a nature girl, would probably understand that's probably one of the reasons that's stunting their growth, at least height-wise, is just the constant fight for photosynthesis. And it would be the reason why that the trunks are so swollen, because they are probably decently waterlogged. And so either they have adapted to drink seawater, or there is a very good filtration process on this island that into the aquifers knock out all the salt water, or all the salt in the water.
Interesting.
But other than that, Kaporin, you do see a lot of movement in the treetops. Little animals, lots of little birds. This island, probably because it's so tight, you're not looking at too many large predators, at least in this forest alone, and so a lot more of these smaller creatures seem to thrive here.
Okay. He would fly back down and like, doesn't seem that menacing. There is a bunch of little creatures living up in the tops, but it just looks very dense.
I guess I'm just confused why you want to go south.
It says follow the sun. Yeah.
And the sun heads that way. You're just gonna point north.
Yeah, sun heads north.
So, I mean,
For us to turn around?
I think this is Racha. I think what Kaporin is probably thinking is that since we're already on the north side and we're supposed to follow the sun, then the only possible way to follow the sun would be if it's coming up in the morning from the south, and that'd really be the only direction that we could go.
This is very weird.
How clear is
you're
the
gonna have
water?
fun with that one, aren't you, Val?
The water's clearer than the island that you guys left the day prior, but it also, the angle of the degree of it dropping off into deeper water is pretty quick. There is
This one was a gravel beach, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's probably why it's clearer.
Yeah. There's not that silty sand that you're dealing with. There's sand here, but it's much thicker, granular stuff. But just going out about 15, 20 feet, Polly would already be fully submerged. Everyone else would be like chest to neck.
I would assume we have to go south just because the riddle mentions the trees, and if we go the opposite direction, then we'll be heading away from them.
You guys are gonna have a hard time walking through all of that.
I mean, we can see the trees from on the other island, right? They're right
No,
there.
Nora's the only one that can see. I mean, even though on this map it looks like they're right there,
It looks like, okay.
it's still a distance away, and only Nori can really... It's sort of that illusionary, when something large is far away, but there's a lot of... Especially when you're doing it over ocean, there's this weird effect that happens because obviously the sky isn't really blue, but we see it as blue because it's reflecting the sun. That will block your view. So an island that's only a few hundred miles away could be absolutely unseeable to some people. But Nori can, like, she rolled pretty well, I believe, on that perception check.
I
31.
don't think you made me make one. Oh, did I make? Is that the most recent one?
But your pass is over
Yeah.
20, right?
My passive is 30.
Okay, then yeah, that's probably what I used.
For just shaking her head.
Broken feet. And So with that, you're able to like sort of see in the distance and see the slight differences in the blue that you see and be like, okay, that is actually mountains on an island over there. If she sat there and pointed it out to you guys could eventually figure it out. Like, oh, I see where it like kind of shimmers differently. But Nori just goes, yeah, that's an island over there, so we're here, and points to the map, and you guys just go. I trust the paranoid one.
So, I don't know. My thing is, we must have to head south further, since it's telling us to avoid the trees, or to at least keep an eye out for them.
Hey, Bella,
Yeah?
you can still speak to plants at any time, can't you?
Yeah.
Did you ask them if anyone other than us have been through here recently? 2 weeks recently? Well, like 2.5.
Okay. She kind of like floats towards the forest, stops, turns around, and then floats towards the forest, stops, turns around, floats towards the forest, and disappears for a bit.
Warren goes after. Warren walks towards the forest and says,
I didn't know she was gonna go all the way in. I was like, talk to a tree on the edge. That's what I meant.
Pointer, it says, watch out for
Oh,
death.
did
as
she
hound."
just disappear because she doesn't want a part in this?
Bella, where'd you go?
Is that the vibe I'm picking up here?
Comparing, you're freaking out because it is thick. It's not easy to see into this forest, and if you lose track of her, you can't see her anymore. But like 5 minutes of comparing, freaking out, Bella pops out of the forest about like 20 feet away from you guys. She goes, "They're assholes. They're all assholes, and they're all French. Why are they French?"
What? Our horses were French. Why
Why
did
are
this?
they assholes?
Have you dealt with the French?
We don't
Guess
know who
not.
French are.
They're a type of elf. And you thought high elves were bad.
French elves are worse?
Yes.
God.
Some
Or
class of
just
dark
gives a
elves,
slow
maybe.
nod.
They haven't seen
Were
shit.
they not helpful at all?
No, they weren't. They all say they haven't seen shit. All they see is their buddy next to them. How are they supposed to see anything particular? Why are you asking? Why are you bugging? So on and so forth. But with their stupid accent.
Okay.
Thank you for trying.
That's why you never ask an oak anything. Always fucking French. And she just floats back towards the water.
I'm sorry, Bella.
She thought you knew,
I'm worried
so that's
that-
why when you're like, "Hey, can you go ask?" She's just like, "You're gonna make me talk to the French trees? You're an asshole."
I didn't know they were French. She
I know.
didn't communicate that to me.
I understand, but she thought you
assumed.
knew, so that's why. She was just like, "You're gonna make me do this?"
It makes asses of all of us.
Can't innately talk to plants like you can. I
Looking
have
at
to
the
work that with that. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. Looking at the forest, there's not like a obvious path that someone would have created to get through. Okay.
You see some trampled down, looks like small game trails, like maybe rabbit or so. Rabbit, maybe fox, biggest. But it's obviously not heavy footfalls that were created. Anything. It is small little feet that have made the trails. And they're sporadic and look like they have ADHD. So they wouldn't be beneficial to follow as far as
Yeah.
going into the forest.
Yeah. I mean, unless we can think of anything else, or unless it's another one of those we have to wait for a certain time, I don't think we're going to end up going back into the water.
It specifically talks about trees, but to keep an eye out for them. Theoretically, I could fly over and see if I can find anything.
About 10 more minutes of non-magic.
Okay. So we're in a no magic moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Charlothia set up that teleportation circle to only work during the non-magic moments because she didn't want you possibly teleporting the entire tent with you.
Yeah, that would be less than ideal.
We just end up on a different island in a different continent.
No, that'd make you skip dimensions. So you guys still landed on the island, but you're now in a fucking completely different world. And until you guys find that out, you just be like, "What the fuck, pal?" And I'll be like, "I've been holding on to that shit for like 3 months."
We actually end up running into our doppelgangers at that point.
No, you can never do that.
Oh.
As Polly has found out, you will swap positions with the entity that you are in this dimension with the other one.
I feel a bit bad for whoever has to swap with me.
Hey, the other one might be a better dad.
Or not a dad at all.
Well, he would be if he ended up
That
getting
would
stuck
be
in
a
this
better
dimension. Hey, I have a dimension created where Kapoor never left that island. Anyway, continue.
I mean, when it says from the North Shore, follow the sun. When you follow something, you are going in its track. We'd be going opposite of the sun's tracks if we're going south.
From where we are, does the sun technically cross over us?
Not directly over you, no.
Not directly over.
Yeah, the middle of where the sun would be going up and over would be like the Swakshaw, Eickerberg, Tree Root Swamp, Iasmar, Felskon.
I follow the sun. The trees are really thick. Is there a specific part where there is sun on the ground?
Make a
Like if I
perception
were
check.
to walk, like to walk across the edge of the forest and see if there's like a gap where there is sunlight. Magic path bullshit. I don't know.
Understandable. Perception.
Nat 20. 35, y'all. I'm
Wow.
Nori
gonna
burns
use these
all
new
her-
dice.
Nori just
Oh, her luck.
is burning all her nat 20s now. And when combat comes, expect all the ones.
I am going to be rolling exclusively ones for months. I have rolled more 20s in the last 2 sessions than I have in months. Honestly, if you look back at like the track,
Oh, I
no
bet.
20s.
Looking across, you can see pretty deep into the forest, especially as you're trying to travel alongside and catch the quick glances between the trees. It does look like trees here and there have been felled by what means you can't really tell from this distance, but it's so dense and packed that they have been felled, but they're still pretty much upright because they then just rest in the branches and up against the other trees that are nearby since it's so thick. But that has led to small breaks in the canopy to allow some sun through. So it's sporadic, and I would say the 3 situations where you see this doesn't make really a path. They're very much more horizontally. If you wanted to try and connect the dots, it's very much a horizontal path than like a into the forest path.
Okay. It was just an idea.
I will say though that with that high of a perception check, you also see that there are plenty of animals that are on the forest floor, and they range in size from what you thought, rabbits, foxes, to bigger animals too that you weren't prepared to see. You see wolves. Again, none of these creatures paying any of you all any mind. Wolves. Looks like some version of bobcats. And even moose. They just don't have as wide of an antler situation as cold temperature moose would have.
Chunky boy. You're just like, as she's looking at all this, she's like, whoever did this, I hate them with all of my soul.
Make a history check, Nori.
I'll make her re-roll it if she does it low.
You don't get to know if it's a positive or a negative, so you'd have to choose.
Wow.
So,
Can I give myself guidance for that history roll? Oh wait, there's no magic. Never mind.
there you go. So, comparing.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Luckily, doubled with your nat 20 perception check. Your eyes sort of linger on the moose for a little bit, and you're going back to some stuff that Avita has taught you. You being a mountain druid, or at least that's how you grew up. Avita not being a mountain druid. She actually comes from the forest. She would have taught you some stuff about the forest in the past. And one of the main things that she would have taught you were you've encountered one already, the forest guardian. When you guys were flying, or actually you don't remember that shit at all. But back in timey-wimey bullshit, you remember the forest guardians. But you do know of a story as well in which Avita tells you that there are creatures that were put into the forest that are considered the children of the forest. The bear is considered the daughter of the forest, and the moose is considered the son of the forest.
That's cool. Now I want to know why the bear's the daughter.
Because it's got claws.
Strong, independent woman.
So
There's
Amric
reason-
has the daughter of the forest as a tattoo somewhere.
Bears are much more maternally instincted to protect the young.
Seeing this moose, is it just kind of walking around doing moose things, or is it looking at me?
It's looking at you. It catches your eye for a bit, and then it starts walking away.
Nori will essentially go, guys, come on.
Huh? Okay.
And you'll see Nori start walking into the forest.
You go, guys, come on, and Richard's already like underneath your arm as you're like waving everyone over. And he's like, yeah,
Follow the moose.
what's a moose?
I point to the moose.
And Richard's gone.
Great.
And then,
Great.
hi, Mr. Moose.
Don't scare him.
How are you doing today? You strong silent type? That's cool. You mind if I sit on you? Ask for consent first.
You speak with animals.
It's no magic.
Fuck.
That's just rude.
Not to you.
I'm gonna ask for consent. I'm gonna take that silence as a yes. And before anyone else gets over, Richard's now sitting on the moose.
Did anyone tell Richard that we're leaving?
Yep, he's already there.
Oh,
Keeping an eye on our new friend.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moose.
Is it a male or female?
let's just say it's neither.
Okay, so creation, some sort of strange thing.
Probably hence why
Sorry.
the riddle.
Sorry, Moose.
So specific. Just the incredibly specific knowledge that would be necessary for this. I'm glad I rolled above a 10.
Well, the nat 20 helped. So you noticed it, like, staring at you. And that prompted why would a moose be staring at me? And then you try to, like, go in through your mind and be like, well, if he just taught me some stuff about forest creatures. And so that's where it sort of boiled down to. So you already knew to, like, look in that portion of your file cabinet memory and dust off those books.
I
And
wonder
so
what you have
made
rolled
it
if I
easier.
made you reroll.
You'll never know. But
That one.
you guys continue on. Following said
Following.
moose, and the moose is not going very fast, so even the slowest of your party with difficult terrain can easily keep up.
Born's keeping his eye on the trees the whole time.
It's definitely to the point where you're like, oh my god, we can move faster, because this move is like,
Rachel's having a fun time because he's riding the thing.
Yep.
Nori, who's able to move a lot faster, is like, okay.
just be
Horns
grateful
down.
that you figured it out the first time, because if you hadn't have figured it out and the moose just started going, and then eventually you figured it out, you wouldn't want to have this moose to move fast.
Yep, that's fair enough.
So I built that as a safety just in case.
Thank you.
But the moose continues unfettered and unbothered by anything. But only Rachel can sit on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he weighs pretty much nothing.
It's like he's 90 pounds, but it's a bird 90 pounds, so it just feels like he's fluff.
Yeah, and for the sheer fact that he can stealth on everyone's back without them realizing or feeling it, he's probably doing something to the same with the moose.
Like a black cat standing on the back.
Yeah. But you guys follow this moose, and he winds you in a decently straight southwesternly direction, only maneuvering around trees that are directly in the path. But you follow along and get to witness all the different types of animals in this forest. As far as it goes for you, Nori, nothing new. But you see all the different circle of life that happens in here. It seems that when you guys are with this moose, and as long as you're staying within a certain radius, either the inhabitants of this forest either don't see you or just don't care and continue on with their normal lives. You see certain animals hunting others. You see parental animals with their young. A whole host of different steps of life as you guys travel throughout. About 2 hours later of following this moose in its slow pathing, there seems to be a little bit of light starting to show past the next few walls of trees. Eventually, the moose gets to the outer edge of a couple walls up and then stops. And as you guys all move and maneuver your way around to see past, there is a small clearing, roughly about 100 feet wide. The trees that are directly encircling this clearing almost seem to bend slightly, bulge, as if this clearing is created by some magic, and the trees, still trying to grow as much and as far and wide as they can, contour themselves to some sort of barrier. It's not a huge sort of bowling, but it definitely, you can see a little bit of a, like the Photoshop that some people like to do and be like, look, I have a butt now. And you're just like, I can see that the doorway is doing some funky physics things. It's sort of the same situation. But the tree tops grow much further out, and now you guys get to understand, besides Nori, who's probably checked it already, but the branches of these trees extend out a good 30, 40 feet. So there's about a 10-foot radius gap in the middle of all these trees that have extended their branches out into the middle here that's shining a little bit of light down in this clearing. And then there's one tree in this clearing. There's no grass. Everything that's across the floor in this clearing is of either a moss or a fungi. The tree that exists in the middle of this clearing has no leaves. But it does have an interesting adornment. Dozens of skeletons are hung from rope across the branches of this multifaceted tree. The tree much shorter than the trees all around it, squatter but wide. Dozens of skeletons, all roughly humanoid, all decapitated. But the heads are not far from the bodies, as they all reside inside the chest cavity of the body itself. As you all sort of take this scene in, Brachaw all of a sudden thump, on the ground. Oh, soon, son of a... Oh, that's my wing bone. As he sits up, the moose having vanished beneath him.
You okay?
He's just sort of like rubbing his butt and being like, "Go, parent. I've been meaning to say this for a long time. Don't ask questions you know the answers to."
Okay.
I love you, though. Oh. So I think we found the tree.
Yeah.
And with that, pew! Rachaw's off.
We should have got that leash at some point.
You just
How many
leave.
skeletons are there?
He
Sorry.
just darts.
Dozens. If you want to sit there and count each and every one, you can, but
I
It's
don't
not
really
a-
want to.
not as simple as going like, "Oh, there's 12." And it's like, no, that's a lot.
Magic or no magic?
By now, we'll say that there is magic.
Warren would start approaching the tree then. Since Rachal's already darted off.
Ollie kind of Ollie, covered in sweat and pissed off, is sitting at the edge of the clearing, just resting.
All right.
Kind of the end of the riddle, so Caporn's kind of confused. It's like, what are we supposed to do here? He's kind of looking around, trying to see if there's like any, because you said it's like for the most part full skeletons, right?
Yep.
With the skulls in their head, in their chest.
In their chests, yes.
He's looking like, well, we have parts of a skeleton.
Val, I'd like to cast Detect Poison and Disease.
Okay.
And so, within 30 feet, I can detect poisons, diseases. I know what they are.
Much plethora of the fungi that grow around here have different type of psychedelic diseases, as well as poisonable properties as well. Nothing on the tree or the skeletons, though.
Yeah, Rick, I know you're just kind of getting used to it, but is there any way that You can detect undead. See if those things are going to come to life.
We can just see if I need to mark it off for him. Divine sense, quick. What's his radius? 60 feet? Yeah, 60 feet. The only undead thing that he picks up is, again, some of the fungi.
That's interesting. Born's kind
Some
of
of
like,
that would coordinate with your stuff, Nori, as well.
So undead mushrooms?
More like poisonous mushrooms that use probably necrotic energy.
It takes a wise soul to separate head from heart. She just stares up at the heads in the chest.
do we have to take their heads out of their chest?
I don't know.
But who in particular? There's so many. Looking around, kind of approaching the tree trunk. I'm assuming that's where Rachel went.
Oh, he's in the branches, but you don't
Oh,
know
he's-
that.
Oh, great.
I do.
He's trying to see
Barely.
how these skeletons are connected. Are the ropes like tied? Do they come out of the branch? Like he's looking at more of the mechanical stuff of it rather than trying to figure out the riddle.
Great,
How
Rachel.
far up are the skeletons? Is there like,
It's varying lengths.
I guess how closer to the bottom is the lowest one?
The few of the lowest ones are probably just a few inches from their toes hitting the ground. And then some of the tallest ones are about. Bryn would probably need to stand on her tippy toes to get and outstretched arms to reach the chest cavities. We'll say Nori, with your passive perception, as you said you're getting closer to the tree, and checking these things out. All of the skulls have little gems inside their eyes, and each skull has two gems, one in each eye, and they're matching colors. You have skulls where the gems are almost diamond-esque looking. You've got gems that look like sapphires. You've got gems that look like emerald. And gems that look like rubies.
Would any of us know like of a gem that's related to the heart? Like you would give this person if you love them, or
A rose by any other name?
yeah, basically.
Polly could make a history check.
Am I adding proficiency to it or no?
Only if you're proficient in history. He wouldn't know of any one gem in specific, but definitely probably not any of these gems for that.
Okay. And besides the eyes just being jeweled, there's no other particulars to these skeletons?
Nope. Like I said, unfortunately, they look all pretty much humanoid and without much differentiation with skin features or clothing features or anything like that. Half elf, human, even Triton, they all share roughly the same bone structure.
Mm-hmm.
I just curious. This isn't stonework, is it? That you're making me check for history wise?
No, this was jewels.
Okay, never mind.
And that was more just of your time in Kember.
Emerald, ruby.
Diamonds and sapphires. Those are the only 4 that we see.
Oh my.
Or no,
Yes.
sees.
Correct.
What's the deal with the trunk of this tree? I'm not going to get close, but I'm going to get close enough.
It's thick. It's got plenty of knots. A lot of it resides up and out of the dirt, but you're guessing to handle this much weight, a vast underground root system also exists.
Knots big enough to put gems in or skulls in.
No opening is big enough for that. Whomping Willow vibes.
Okay.
Is
So
it
twisted
by
and-
chance 5 foot in diameter?
You get the sense with your detect. Oh, actually not with yours, but with Amric's divine sense. This tree is long past dead.
I gotta find another one.
It's a thick boy, but yeah, it's a very, very dead tree.
Are all the skeletons about the same size?
Roughly, yep.
Okay, nothing special on any one of them. No bigger head, no bigger chest. No.
Make it a investigation check.
I'm good at these.
Maybe we
Are
have
we
to take-
supposed to separate head from heart?
Well, not only head from heart, but keep an eye out.
Nothing specifically obvious of a difference between any of the closest 20 bodies for you to pull anything from. You're looking at the height averaging range being somewhere between 5 foot and 6 foot.
Courageous and swift. Courageous, swift. I mean, we have. The riddle has 4. What are those words considered?
Uh,
Descriptors?
descriptors?
Adjectives?
Words
Uh,
hurt.
It's Kapord. I don't do well the words, okay?
The bard, who was at once a
The
bard.
bard.
Hey, I
Bard
just
is
know
not
how to
good
put
with
them
words.
together.
He just knows what words rhyme,
Exactly.
not how to put together.
Yeah, we already said that Polly doesn't know, like, if there's specific meanings to gemstones.
At least for anything concerned with heart.
Heart.
No, like courageous, swift, confident, smart.
I know. Cord only asked about the heart.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
only
I'm
asked about the heart.
Yeah, I what I'm asking is, are there specific gem colorations that it's like courageous, swift, confident, smart?
Polly, make a history check.
Can I give myself guidance?
Sure.
You-
That usually
You've
gives-
gotten
Okay.
When I say sure to a guidance check, I usually give you an idea that DC is probably pretty high.
Yeah.
That's as high as I can get anyway. 20.
You do know that confidence does have a gem relocation to it, but it's none of these gems.
Okay.
At least in Dwarven.
I don't know nothing about no elven gems.
Or human.
Or gnome.
Triton.
Or halfling. Or Goliath.
At least for the dwarves, confidence is opal.
I guess we should
I don't-
start
I don't know
somewhere.
much- I don't know much about gems, so
I
Unfortunately,
hate to say it, but I can.
we have no humans.
I have speak with dead. I'm just
What-
afraid that
wait.
the whole tree would start yelling at me.
yeah.
It's quite possible.
What do you mean?
Especially
Wait,
with boosted magic.
what did it mean that there's no humans in this group?
You guys are half elves. You're not humans.
Oh, true.
Neither one of you have grown up in human society.
Yeah, I am elf and goblin. You're tiefling, kind of.
Bryn's from Valkyrie lands. Polly, even though he grew up in Ixia, that city was very heavily dwarven.
Shaw
Should
grew
we
up around bird people.
Should we try
And Amber's
kicking their
Goliath.
head out?
We're all a bunch of weirdos. I say it again?
Should we take the heads out?
It just makes it great because I could just have things reliant on human stuff, and you guys are like, "Fuck, we don't know anything about humans."
What are humans?
The one race no one wants to play.
I was thinking about being a human.
You're half there.
Technically not even. That's just his body. His soul is a completely different thing.
He didn't know that. so
I'm
I'm the closest
basically-
we've got.
Can we try to? Kavorn's gonna offer, like, should we try to remove a skull then? See what happens? Or should we let Polly try to talk to them first?
You could talk to them. I don't think we're gonna get a good answer because they wouldn't know what to do.
I mean, what would we want to know from them? Because there has to be something that happened before they were dead.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, there wouldn't be anything they would know that would be helpful. Because one of these just could be Joe the baker who died in his sleep peacefully. Probably not, but that's...
Poor Joe.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good croissant recipe.
Which one is Joe?
You might even have a good bagel recipe. Who knows?
Turns it on,
Maybe.
Joe. Yes, 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 yes.
Bakers?
Joe the baker. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Son of a bitch. Joe the best baker.
I need to draw
Joe with a
a
good
tree
croissant.
full of skeletons, but all the skeletons are wearing baker's hats with little names that say, "Hi, my name is Joe."
I guess we'll try to remove a skull then.
We're
If
looking for
that's-
Bagel Joe.
Bagel Joe.
Okay.
Joe Bagel.
What?
Um,
You have a plethora of options of to remove.
Val pulling out the laptop.
I guess I needed to figure out where things were. Now you know why.
I get it.
Um,
There's 40 skeletons.
More.
I'd like to count the
More.
skeletons.
I will say you start.
looking at the skeletons that are in front of us, I guess
From where
would-
you're at currently, you have a green, a blue, emerald, a sapphire. I just did the colors because it makes it easier for me, but it's emerald, sapphire,
Just do the colors.
ruby, and diamond. Those are the 4 closest, so you have one of each. As you're standing there.
Sapphire.
Sapphire? Okay. So you reach up, and you're just going to remove the head from the cavity?
Be gentle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's not that since he's 6'6", he's not that.
No.
That far
Like I
away?
said, all of them are within reachability for Bryn, so they would be in reachability for you.
Yeah, so he'll just gently try to. He'll just
mean-
like tap it, see if it'll just fall out.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then-
these skulls are in there, and they're held in there. They're not, like, magically floating inside. They're sort
This
of
isn't
wedged.
Jenga. Just pull them out.
They're wedged in there, so it's not like a... I'm just gonna reach up and touch it and bring it down. It's like a... Alright, cool. I got it.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah,
Alright.
he'll go for a sapphire one first then.
Walk over to the sapphire one, and you reach up and into the cavity. And this one, the head is almost face level for you. So you're
that's weird.
So you're kind of like, and then you're like, you know what? And you turn the body a little bit to the side, so you're not just staring into the eyes of this thing. And then you're trying to like, all right, wiggle, 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 and you realize it's not coming out. It's sort of like stuck on a rib. And so you're just
Oh,
like,
no.
you're like, oh man, here we go. And you go, and then you like turn it back slightly, and then you slowly retrieve the head out. And now you're holding this head with the 2 sapphire gems in its eyes.
Okay, I got one.
Boom! A 10-foot radius from Caparin explosion of sleet and snow Oh, sorry, not sleet and snow.
Sapphire?
Nope, I clicked the wrong thing. When I click one, it flips and it lets me know what it does.
Oh.
So this one is not sleet and snow, but icicles that
Great, more icicles.
pierce through your hands. And either like almost coming out of the ear holes of this skull itself, where you're holding either side, just and then just this. The icicles seem to immediately melt, and then the water just flies towards your face, immediately making you start drowning. You initially take
God damn it.
12 points of cold damage. And you all start seeing him suffocate as the water no longer around his face, but in his mouth.
Theoretically, if I cast water breathing on him, would it make it so he stopped dying?
Technically, yes.
Cast water breathing.
Alright. Water breathing cast. So magically boosted water breathing.
You cannot breathe air?
That would be mean, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. It'd be
But no,
extremely
I'm not
mean.
going to be that mean. Even though you don't choose multiple people for the water breathing thing to happen, everyone gets water breathing.
Okay.
Okay.
I did think about that, though, at one point. I'm like, oh, that'd be
I
fucking
looked-
hilarious. Everyone just starts
That-
running towards the shore, like, great, destroy
Yeah,
water,
two-
great, destroy water, make water, we need to breathe.
I have that too.
Yep.
2 hours away from the beachside.
Well, 2 hours slow moose walking.
Well,
More
like
like
an hour away.
45 minutes of you guys running.
We can't survive 45 minutes drowning.
With create and destroy water, you guys would be able to do it.
Okay, so now I have water
You guys have
populating
water
my mouth.
skins, you just constantly...
pouring it on us. So I'm not drowning? Yes?
You're fine. There's about 3 turns before the water disappears.
I did not
Oh,
need a
boy.
drink. I did not need a drink right now. But now I need an alcoholic drink.
No drinking until we're done.
Oh, fine. So don't pull those ones. They flood your mouth, or they flood. Oh God. I'm only gonna assume now. Those sapphires are water. Oh, wait. Aren't these kind of like the same colors as the orbs we pulled out earlier?
And that's why he's the second smartest in the group.
And
Yeah,
Kaporn's
they
in-
are.
So with more
The first
confidence-
smartest didn't touch anything. Second smartest needs to touch it first and then go, oh.
I gotta learn something.
Chad
First.
just figured it out, but he's like poking a skull.
Yeah.
He's too busy. Our final verdict we came on was fire.
Was the final countdown.
Countdown.
I told you
I'm trying
guys
to remember the
multiple
order.
times what it was, so unless someone wrote it down.
Fire, water, earth, ice.
I gotta pull out old notes.
Oh, I have the same pink path. Fire, water, earth, ice. I think was what it was.
Pulling up notes. Hold on.
Scooby Dooby.
We use the word dumpster fire a lot. I just
Yeah.
looked up the word fire in our group chat.
Oh, I don't know if anyone even put it in Discord. At least not the open Discord for the game. Your guys' personal Discord, maybe.
Mm-mm. I feel like Amric had written it out.
No, he wrote out the numbers. He didn't write out
Oh, right.
what was solved. He just wrote out the number sequencing when you guys were dealing with the switches.
Trying to think because my computer died right around there. So I was gone when Earth happened.
Mhm.
I think Earth was third.
Well, when you guys solved that puzzle, everyone was there for that one,
Yeah.
except for Chalk.
No, my computer cut out and I was very mad.
Oh,
Is part of the reason why I'm no longer using the desktop because it keeps fucking me.
It was fire, water, earth, ice, and then we went through the stone door.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I was confident that it was fire and the ice was last. I just couldn't remember if it was water, earth, or earth, water.
Because we're trying to take the water because I couldn't. I wasn't fast enough.
icy hot.
Pouring. Should I do the sapphire next then? Wait, no, it was sapphire.
You just did a
ruby.
sapphire.
Ruby.
Yeah, just we're gonna do the sapphire again.
I can
Ruby.
breathe.
He
the
puts it
water.
back in, pulls it back out.
So,
Does it reset?
Is it still in his hand?
The skull's still in the hand, but the sapphires are gone.
Oh, okay.
Porn just puts it back just to be kind, and
It doesn't fit anymore. Every time you try to put it back, it just falls out.
oh, he put it on top, and just like, okay, that's it.
On top of a hanging. Where are you
Yep.
gonna put it?
Oh, like the neck's not there anymore? No.
Give it to me. Jeez.
Okay, Polly, here's a new friend.
I'll put it in my bag and step back with Amric and just watch and laugh.
A fire. So rubies, please.
Nori's here to heal. I
Okay.
physically can't reach. I'm too short.
No, this one's short enough.
Okay.
We're looking.
Yeah, I said some of these skeletons, their toes are almost touching the ground.
Okay, so I'll grab up the ruby one.
Okay.
So Kaparin doesn't have to do the whole thing.
Yep, the one to the left of Perrin has the ruby eyes. You
Back 10 feet.
you also have a bit of a tough time getting it out. But if Kaparin's alarms can do it, so can yours. You hear them crack and pop, probably some bone breaking, and
Sorry.
as you pull the skull out, even before it gets completely out of the cavity, the bottom jaw just opens, and just a torrent of flame cuts directly forward into your face.
Absorb elements.
17 points of fire damage.
I'm gonna have that with absorb elements because I don't want to take all that damage.
So, when you use absorb elements during this boosted time, you take no damage.
Wonderful. No secondary thing that I'm gonna have to worry about.
Doesn't seem like it.
How long does that last?
1 round.
So start pulling fucking skulls.
I don't want to pull fucking skulls. Just got
I'm
shot
sorry
with
you're not taking any
fire.
damage for anything.
It's 6 seconds. She doesn't have enough time to go over and delicately take a skull
that.
out. Like,
So it's not that.
Maybe it's the reversed order?
You just did the reverse order. We started with the ice.
No, we started off with water.
Oh, you did the water. Okay. Do you
I
wanna do
think
diamonds?
ice
I
is
mean-
diamonds, right?
Came out as icicles, didn't you say that, Val? And then melted?
and then melted, yes.
I mean, I
Brayden,
would,
do you
I
wanna do
would,
the ice one.
I would assume ice would be diamonds.
Alright, guess Bryn will go get the freaking diamond one.
Okay, this one's a little taller, so you gotta reach up and get to it, but you can. And with your strength, it's not a problem, and you're not weary about cracking a bone. So she kind of just reaches in and palms like the top of the head, just with one hand, like slides it out. And as she grasps it with the other hand and looks down at it, she gets catapulted as this giant gust of air just lifts her up into the sky, and she starts flipping, going up 30 feet before she lands. 14 points of bludgeoning damage as you impact the ground.
Huh? I want to run over and help her up. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll run over. Give. Yeah, what the fuck is this thing?
So you said diamonds just threw her? Through her?
Air.
Air.
Air?
They're elemental.
Okay,
What do we think the green one's going to do then?
Hit you in the face with a large rock? I don't know.
Well, with that idea.
Going with plan B.
We send Claire to do that because he's resistant to bludgeoning damage.
Actually, I'm gonna go to the other side of the tree and pull down one of the green ones, but I'm gonna do it from behind so that the face of the skull is facing away from me
Okay.
towards the forest.
Roger that.
I'm also gonna hold my breath just in case.
Okay. You reach up and in, grab, pop. You definitely don't have any aversion to some bone structure damage. As you do so, the front and back of the head explode and erupt as these vines reach out and just impact everything, almost looking like a spider web has been instantly created in front of you. This one impacts you a few times in the chest. Yeah. 14 points of acid damage as these things are impacted and start to as the sap oozing from these vines just singe the skin.
And from this side, are there any other colors besides the 4?
Oh yeah.
What are the colors?
All of these skeletons have colored jewels in their eyes.
But are there different colors?
Yeah. To your left, you've got one of diamonds. Actually, to your left and to your right, you have diamonds.
No, I mean, like, are there anything but diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emeralds?
No, just
Okay.
those.
Cha, you seeing anything from the top of the tree, buddy?
You guys getting fucked up.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
These
Hey,
ropes.
Racha, from now on, can you do us a favor and not state the obvious?
No, I haven't been able to do it very often, so I think I need to at least match Capernaum. But I can tell you, these ropes, they're not tied up here. They come from the tree.
They come from the tree.
Yeah?
Alrighty then.
And then, as some time has passed between you guys pulling the skulls from the skeletons, the ones that you have pulled, all the bones disintegrate. And the ropes, same fashion that they were attached to. You feel your skull bag, Polly, lighten. As the one that you had put in there is no longer in there.
They just disintegrate and then the vine disappears? Or
Yep.
the rope?
it too disintegrates away.
I mean, do we want to brute force this?
Not really.
I have the urge to start punting skulls.
It's very cathartic.
I meant not punting, but like launching with hammer.
Maybe not quite yet.
Amric will take a deep breath and cast Detect Magic. As his eyes close and he opens them, and you guys can see him tracking a lot of things throughout the tree. Yeah, all of this is magical. Not just the skulls, the bodies too.
Similar magic, or
Well, each one of the skulls have different magics in them. Too many for me to keep track of. But the bodies match, it seems. Whatever the skull is.
Mm, maybe we have to take down the whole body.
A lot
Are
of
there
these
markings
have
on the tree.
evocation type of magic, though. I'm not sure what that means.
Evocation.
Oh, that makes much more sense.
That's the that's the explodey one.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those here.
How
Okay,
long?
which ones aren't?
That one, 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 that one.
Okay. Name the schools that are those.
Enchantment. Divination. He's like trying to like shift through, and he's just like, it's like going through the weirdest clothing rack ever.
Can he tell me like what the color of the gem is?
No,
It's like,
you can't see that.
Okay.
None of it's matching. It's not like all the abjurations are sapphires. It is, as he's describing everything, it is very much an undiscernible with detect magic of what is possibly good or bad.
After we pulled the skull out, how long did it take to explode?
Different lengths of time for different people. Nori's fire one exploded immediately as it left the cavity. Where Kaporin's took a couple seconds.
Can I
Hammer.
do see invisibility? Sorry, then you can go. So I can check that out, see if there's anything different.
Sure. You cast See Invisibility and immediately regret your decisions. As a plethora of...
I just missed my insanity points, apparently.
If you want, I can give some back to you. Looking around, there are hundreds of individuals lining this clearing. All of them just staring up and into the tree. It looks like everything from human, half-elf, gnome, halfling, Goliath, Triton, Tabaxi, Leonin, drow, a few type of species of individuals you're not used to seeing ever. And according to the clothing that you're wearing, this looks like it probably spans hundreds, if not thousands of years. And then looking up into the tree, Though there are dozens of dead bodies in there, there are now twice as many, all hanging in different portions. You're guessing at one point this was probably used as a lynching tree. And you have now witnessed everyone who's ever been lynched.
Yeah. No.
I heard you want to be
No.
number one, Dad.
That's some
Not
souls
telling
for
Torin
you.
that.
He was
Emmerich.
number one.
The heads and the bodies, are they connected as far as like, is there a stream or flow of magic through both of them, or are they disconnected?
He can't tell. He just knows that they're used to the same magic. The magic that flows through the body and through the head all seem to be like the same undulating power. So he would assume that they're connected somehow magically.
Is there one low enough that I can get to the top of it?
I mean, you can climb the branches and walk over.
What would be considered the heart of the tree?
I
I mean,
mean, that's more of a personal choice, I guess you would say.
no.
As far as nature goes, it's sort of up in the air. There is no like heart. If you were to have to say heart, you would also say the roots, but then people would think, okay, more the roots are more of the brain, but there is no secondary necessity for a plant because the leaves would be considered like skin. So
Okay.
it's sort of your choice.
You didn't include it in the description, so I'm not sure if it would be relevant. But what color are the mushrooms? Should we shove
Multiple
those in
different-
those poor people's bodies?
They are. It is multiple different colors. It is a fungi fest here.
Is there like a reason they're going there? Or are they just feeding off the rotting wood?
Probably not the rotting wood that they're feeding off of.
Rotting bodies?
Yeah. You know, especially some of these, like the Lich's Death Cap, only grow over dead bodies. Usually found in graveyards and such.
So we're standing in a graveyard.
Yeah, and some of this would actually be understood by Bryn. You know, mass battlefields that the bodies have been left behind. Some of these fungi grow as well. So, before Bryn did the invisibility, she prepped herself to see some stupid shit. And everything now checks out for her. She goes, yeah, that tracks.
Can I enlist Richard's help real quick?
Sure. We are
I
getting
need
close
to
to
get
the end of this magic time.
That's fine. I don't need to cast anything. I just need to help get up in the tree.
Mhm.
I want to get out on a branch far enough that I can pull the skull from the chest of the skeleton and put it on the neck.
Okay.
Is there
So-
a neck?
Well, I mean, there's an opening where the top of the chest cavity is. But
Right,
there's,
but I can't. That's too small to pull the skull through.
yeah, well, I mean, you're a cleric. You've dealt with many different skulls and everything. Unless it's already pre-attached, attaching a skull back to like the thin top vertebrae of a spine, very fucking difficult, especially to do quickly. Because we're talking like the size of, you know, way smaller than a pinky finger, and trying to thread that needle in.
Okay, so not a good idea. Okay, just thought
And
I'd try.
also because the skull can only go out from the bottom of the chest cavity, it's like trying to, you know, do a full scoop and slam it on top. You get the sense that with the degradation of the top vertebrae, it wouldn't be possible.
All right, how thick are these rope vines?
Thickest is about 2 inches thick. Thinnest is about 1 inch thick.
Can I borrow a dagger from Racha and cut one of these down just to see what it does?
Sure.
Okay.
Which one do you want to choose? Anything specific, or just the closest one that you could get to?
Whatever's easier. I'm out on a limb, literally.
Okay.
Just to exhaust all options.
Yep, not a problem. Trial and error, I understand.
Maybe start with a fire one?
You get the dagger from Racha and reach down. Racha quickly scurries over a few branches as you start to... And it's taking a while, way thicker and stronger of a vine or rope that you were expecting to do, but you are making some leeway. Until eventually you cut all the way through it. And as the skeleton and the skull fall, it goes and crumples and immediately disintegrates into a mess, and then just green dust just out into a giant cloud around. Radius is 30 feet. So everyone, besides Nori, because she's immune to poison, needs to make
Amric and Richar are both resistant.
Constitution saving throws. And Amric has a 13 to his con save, so.
Well, anyone within 10 feet of Amric gets a +4 to their saves.
The person that
so-
was next to Amric was Polly, and Polly is now in the tree.
Richar's a -1. Oh, okay. He got the Medusa thing.
So, DC was 19. Anyone below fails and takes full damage. $20 points of poison damage. And so if you succeed, you take 10. Fail, you take 20, and you are poisoned for the next minute.
Fun.
That's just like disadvantage on a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, and it's disadvantage on. It's like the first level of exhaustion, I believe.
Attack rolls and ability checks if my
Yeah.
memory saves.
Ugh, I don't feel so good.
Poison, disadvantage on attack rolls and checks, yeah. So Amric takes 5 damage.
Go, Amric.
Well, at least Richar is resistant. Poor boy.
Well, I mean, the only other thing I can think of while we were... Maybe there's something that's supposed to give us the color we're supposed to remove? Like, in the labyrinth? But... I call it a labyrinth, but it's more like...
It's like 5 rooms.
Yeah. I mean, history-wise, that's the only thing I can remember was color coordinated was the orbs.
I mean, we haven't really done the whole be courageous and swift, confident and smart, but it takes a wise soul to separate head from heart part of the riddle yet.
I mean, I think the Swift might have just been making sure we get out from... Oh, I don't know if... Well, getting out from the water tunnel?
Was that a part of this?
I
Or
believe
was that
so.
just some extra fuckery we did? Because whoever made these, I highly doubt they're all-seeing, all-knowing beings.
Well, and this was the next island we were supposed to go to. We weren't supposed to go to that one.
True. Unless that was also planned.
I mean, we are facing a death tree. We have to have courage for that. These things are fast, so we have to be fast. We have to be confident in this decision we make, and then we have to be smart about which ones we pick.
Have to throw them? Get rid of them?
Kaporan takes
Emmerich,
out of
get rid
all
of
that,
it.
we have to throw it.
Swift. Maybe you gotta pull all 4 at the same time?
Are there any markings on the tree?
Make an investigation check. You can't give me that face with a 30 passive perception, okay?
That's 12.
No unnatural made marks. So no carvings, no burns, no anything like that. The only sort of twists and knots and everything that would naturally occur with this tree as it grows.
And nothing to do with druidic stuff.
No. Nothing stands out for that, and Richard has been checking for Thieves' Cant stuff, and nothing for him. Richard is also above all of these, trying to see if there was any sort of Thieves' Cant marking above the bodies to be like, ooh, this is the one you're supposed to choose. But he's got nothing.
And then the sun just disappeared.
What?
Wait. The sun, the moose.
Yeah, we followed
Um,
the sun to get here.
You say it was like there's a barrier blocking the trees and whatnot, or blocking the trees from.
I didn't say
going
there's a
into-
physical, seeable barrier, and Amric has detected
Alright.
magic and saw nothing.
Nothing.
I was just saying it seems that there's probably a sense or an aura around this specific area that even the trees don't want to be a part of.
But there's a clear view to the sky in this.
There's a 10-foot radius to see a little bit of blue between the canopy.
There's enough bad vibes here that the trees would rather hug each other.
I'm just thinking, it's like, is it a time of day situation where, like, the sun will come down? Like,
Well, you guys
think we-
aren't in the immediate path of the sun going straight over, so it's
yeah.
never going to be, like, directly over.
yeah. Do the root, like, do the jewels seem like you could just remove them?
You can certainly try.
God. Attempt to remove the fire.
Okay. There's a ruby not too far away from you. So are you just like reaching through the ribs and trying to pop one of the eyes out?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dex check. Not a lot of space between ribs.
I will use my luck.
Dark one's own luck.
Yes, please.
What, you don't think 6 is gonna succeed?
Well, the 12 I feel more comfortable. 6 no.
You
Kinda
reach
more-
in and sort of get your fingers behind into the socket behind the jewel itself, and you go to pull. And you're like trying to like, put your hand on it and like pull through the rib, and you yank it out, but then it gets jammed in between two ribs. So you're like, son of a, as the not only the skull, but the skeleton as well, all explode and eviscerate, sending bone chunks flying like shrapnel. You take 10 points of fire damage, and everyone in a 10-foot radius.
I was not near there. I started stepping back when people started fucking with skeletons.
Okay. We'll
I
see.
assume not many people.
I'll say people now are like, I'm gonna do something, and everyone runs away. And 25 points of bludgeoning. Reduced to half because you're resistant.
17?
No,
not
25
no,
would be
25.
13.
13. I can.
And by the time the dust and smoke settle, there is no skull, there's no skeleton, and no vine or rope from which it was hung.
Okay. I don't know if.
I'll wander up and slap a second level cure wounds into Kabaran.
Thank you.
Minimum healing.
Woo! Thank you. God damn it. I have really no clue what we're supposed to do here.
I'm gonna look in my backpack. Is there anything? It yoinked our gear away. Is that the case? Is there more like weird fuckery with our gear? I'm just going through the different pieces of the riddle.
Make an investigation check.
There it is.
You know, you go to open up your bag and look inside, but it's kind of like that thing like when you go into the next room for something and you get in there and go, what am I doing here? And then you just turn around and leave. You're just like, wait, why am I opening my... whatever.
Yeah, just like the complete lapse in thought. Just go to it. Close it, put it back in my bag.
Like, was I looking for spaghetti? He's over here. He's still okay.
Good to know. It's just like, I gotta get more sleep. So I learned
Story-
nothing.
Oh. Says the island south has more story to tell.
Paul, do you want to try talking to them? Maybe they have a story to tell.
It's no magic time.
Oh, we'll wait until the magic time comes back.
Okay.
But, oh, was it no magic time as I did that question?
No, I had said we're getting to the end of the no magic time, and that was like 10 minutes ago, so...
Okay. But when I removed the jewel, was that within the no magic
Yeah.
time? Okay.
Things that are magically imbued have their own magic inside. Just like you guys are able to use the items, these are considered items.
I was wondering if it was like another situation with where we had to wait for the magic to go down so the
Gotcha.
gaseous form thingy comes out.
The blob.
The blob.
So I know you said that seeing invisibility was really creepy and all that. Is it to a point of like Bryn would be like, yeah, I gotta get rid of this and turn it off, or do you think it'd be okay to leave on for a little bit? Kind of deal.
What do you think she
Because-
would be in the mood
I
for?
don't know, man. Yeah, she probably wouldn't be.
I would say,
Yeah,
other than that, you don't
that
see a
shit.
whole hell of a lot.
Okay.
But to be
Dead
fair,
bodies.
a lot of these dead souls are like shoulder to shoulder.
Did you tell us
Shoulder-
about
Did-
that, or did you keep it to yourself?
Kept it to yourself, or she leaves it until Kaporn.
You're muted.
Are they just staring at a tree?
Yep.
Or at the tree?
The tree.
The tree.
The hanging tree.
I mean, there's a lot going on around here. There's definitely been more than just these guys hanging here. Even
Should I
souls
turn
hanging
the
out.
dead?
I don't know what that would actually do. What would be the effect of that, I guess?
I mean, it would get rid of ghosts, I guess. If they were.
Well, they're not hurting
susceptible to
us.
it. No, I know that.
They're all staring at the tree.
That's where they died. I mean,
And then everyone realizes as they look up, Rachaw's over there fucking dancing. The Spider-Man dancing. And he's like, yeah, I'd be staring at that too. Dead or alive. Doing the Tobey
Rachaw,
Maguire
stop it.
dance.
And you said
I
how
was
big is this
capable of
opening?
animation.
From widest point, it's about 100 feet.
Circle. No. uh, you want really something to look at, guys? Here you go.
Pretty sure your dad would be very mad at us by the end of that situation.
Oh, you'd be dead. I would be dead probably, and he would be already be mad because he has to deal with my mother now. Or unless he doesn't tell her, and then she's gonna find out, and then that'll be a mess. Fuck. Takes a wise soul to separate head from heart. Where's the head and the where's our chest friend?
Amric will pull out the chest. I guess
I
Amric
was
has
just-
it.
I don't remember who has it at this point. Looking at him, or does he feel a type of way of looking at this tree?
The chest responds in no way, shape, or form to anything around it. But I will point out my own double entendre of the skull on the chest. The head in the chest.
Mother.
No, I'm not saying that that's it. I'm just saying, like, that was a... When I first created that portion of this whole thing, I was like, huh, that would be good to use later. And that's where I came up with this riddle.
That is
So it's just
annoying.
an extra flavor, like, oh, look at that, a double.
I had a feeling. I was just like, it's a chest. There's a head.
I hate these people.
Finn's gonna go walk up to one of the sapphire ones.
Sapphire.
That's like she, I guess, more at eye level, not super high up. Kind of deal.
Okay, let me see which one would be eye level. All right.
Have we tried one of the diamond ones yet?
Yep,
Yes.
that was the one that
It
threw
gusted
Bryn
me
around.
away.
Launched Brennan 30 feet into the air.
Yahoo!
She's just gonna look into the gems and see if anything happens, and then go, "What the hell story do you have to tell?" Because that's what it's telling us that we have to do, and that's what she's gonna try.
Okay. So, excuse me, pardon me, as you move through a couple of the hanging
Gotta
boys
go find my buddy.
and find one that's your height and blue-eyed, and stare into it, and after a bit, say your piece. Nothing happens.
Oh.
Except all the skeletons. No, I'm just kidding.
Now they all look at her.
They all jump down on top of her, start stabbing her with their bony fingers.
We can cross out fun talking skeletons.
Well, no, we haven't.
Rachaw
Well, it
been
wouldn't
talking.
need to be
still-
fun.
They are tragic.
I feel like something's missing, but I don't know what it is.
You figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, he's the one that said it. It's like, obviously something's ultimately missing if it hasn't been figured out.
I mean, who would be considered a wise soul? Or what? It takes a wise soul to separate head from heart.
Rachaw throws his shoes
Well,
at
that's because we can't figure it out.
Get a wise soul.
I mean, I don't know if that's a digging into it, because, I mean, a wise soul? Is it a dead
I
person?
pre-rolled for Rachaw on like 4 or 5 different things that he might look for. He got some things well, hence he was able to see the the rope coming out of the tree itself and other things, but he did not roll hot.
I know it's kind of stupid and also like a dumb mortal thing to do, but everybody has that habit of like, it's gone, but you're gonna look for it anyway, just in case there's a little bit left behind. And he always gonna go into his bag and start looking around for just, God, if there's any tobacco left at all.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Fable, do you have any ideas?
Meow.
Oh, I was muted.
Polly, you search through the backpack, don't find a lick at anything, and then you're like, oh, I used my component pouch to hold it when I first bought it. Hold on. And you go into it and you kind of scoop everything up and out of it. There's a couple pinches of tobacco. Probably would better be used for like dipping than for smoking.
But nothing unusual.
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
That was great. I loved it.
I'm on mute forever now. I'm throwing my mic out the window.
So now we know the mastermind behind all of Nori's greatest decisions.
She's fucking asleep. She's not doing shit.
She's dreaming of the
useless.
answer.
That's why we can't figure it out.
Yep. The mastermind is clocked out.
Is the
Yeah,
magic
secretly
back
that's where
in?
all my ideas have been getting from. Mabel, you're making me look bad.
Meow.
Let me know when the magic comes back.
Unless anyone wants to do anything before then.
Mm-hmm.
Magic's back.
Start shooting at the tree pretty soon.
That should be fun.
Eldritch Blast, just keep doing it.
Oh, I haven't even tried Eldritch Blast in the high
Do
magic
not.
time set. So,
Yeah, you did.
oh yeah, I broke my
Damn,
finger.
and you
Poorly.
broke your hand, yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody to back off to the edge of the clearing. And I'm gonna go to the southern part of the tree.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast Speak with Dead.
Okay. You cast Speak with Dead.
Hey guys, anybody got a story to tell?
The close by 15 or so mouths of the skeletons all start speaking at once. And it is just like, oh, fuck.
Are any of them speaking in languages that I can understand?
Yeah, they're all speaking common. So it is just cacophony of asking an entire 3rd grade class, what did they do over the weekend? Without picking on anybody.
It's not fun. Don't do it.
Did I get anything out of that?
Dialects and accents seem to be wide and varied. But nothing concrete or useful.
All right.
The mastermind has woken? Oh, okay.
I will ask.
She made a weird noise.
Does anybody have any information about this tree?
A lot of the answers are the same. Actually, all the answers are the same. I died here.
How did they die?
We're being hung, Baron. That's how
Everyone
they die.
takes 1d4 psychic damage.
I don't want to take 1d4 of psychic damage.
Should all go to Kaporin for doing it. We just like mirror it back to him.
That would just
Or
be
like
the
everybody
physical
rolls 1d4 damage and gives it all to Kaparin.
Exactly.
damage. Everyone just kicking his shin.
That's budgeting.
I refuse.
How do I phrase this? I'm not asking them. I'm saying it in my head.
The skulls on your hip are also replying to these as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, missed you guys.
The one that's in the zip-up face bag.
Oh, she's pissed. I'm sure she's just screaming obscenities at me. As usual, I wouldn't expect anything less. Oh, I'm not very good at this. I'm looking for... No, that's not going to work. Because they're all bones. I'm looking for bones that don't belong here. Does anybody know anything about that?
No. It's the unison response.
Do these gems belong to you?
Again, no.
Does anybody know how long the tree's been dead?
Nope. That would,
Well, that's it for me.
yeah.
And you said it was long dead, so never mind.
There's nothing at its roots or anything.
Roots
Like
And mushrooms.
and dirt. And
Skeletons.
moss.
It says be and moss. It says be courageous, swift, confident, smart. I mean, we can certainly be confident. Misplaced confidence. Swift, Racha is fast as hell. Courageous, sure. Smart.
Or child. Giving you a compliment, buddy. Don't worry.
Were you looking for a soul?
that's what I was. I mean, I thought it takes a wide soul to separate head from heart. Head from heart. Is there someone wise here, or a creature? Is there a creature that's considered wise in this forest?
I mean,
that
if you're
would...
like talking stats, Marie and I both have 20s in wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been helpful. I'm just I got you here. That's the extent of that is my purpose in this world. I got you here.
I found the son of the forest.
If you want me to check and see if there's a soul around here, I can do it. But I don't know if that's going to work out so well.
Brandon would probably have something to say about that.
Well, I mean,
There's
if
lots
she
of
hasn't
souls.
picked it up before, she really doesn't have anything to say about it.
No, I'm saying that there's a lot of souls around here.
Yeah, from what I saw. Yeah, I don't know.
So I can fill up my soul ball.
You certainly try.
I don't
I
know.
don't
They've
blow up anything.
a lot of them been there for a while. I mean, I don't know.
Would there be any like pushing magic into these skeletons?
Let's push it.
Thanks, Bella.
That was Racha.
Oh, that's Racha. Awesome.
Bella is mad at Nori for making her talk to the asshole
French
trees.
trees. Yes. Oui, oui.
She waited to boosted magic and she's now invisible and she's chilling. She is not in that clearing.
Oh, I figured. She's hanging out in the path or something that we came through.
When you have like death tree vibes like that in the Fae, you don't go fucking near it. So she is avoiding that place like the plague.
Yeah, we're just crazy ones messing with the tree.
She will offer words of encouragement from very far away.
So no one can hear it. Got it.
And after all the explosions she's already seen, she's like, yep.
She made the correct decision.
Is there any other obvious? Oh, I guess there wouldn't be an obvious path outside of
No, there are no obvious paths.
outside of the rim of the tree.
No.
Eye out.
F out.
I said keep an eye out. I was take an eye out, but apparently I did that. Never mind.
Mhm.
I tried to take an eye out. I don't know if I took the right
went
eye out.
Fantastically.
I mean, I don't know if I took the right eye out or the
No, you took
Or-
the left eye out, technically.
ha 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 ha. Or if it's just the order that I took it out in. Because it was fire, water, earth, and ice, air. I don't know what ice/air is the last one.
Obligatorily, I do have to let you know, you do have one more hint.
I know.
I appreciate it. Let's see.
Oh, no, we only spent one hint so far, right? Here.
2.
We have one more.
Used one in the
I
temple.
don't wanna
you
waste
used,
that.
Yeah, you used one. There's 3 altogether. 1 in the temple, 1 in the other dungeon.
Yeah.
I rolled for
Can
Racha.
you-
I've not rolled for Emmerich yet. So you have a couple
Can
rolls.
you
around
tell us
Emmerich.
if we've gotten close or have found a path?
So there's the close in the way that I've created this. There's the close if I was a player and approaching this, and then there's the close the way you guys do things.
We're on the
So-
third one.
Seeing as
Close
how
to the solution.
that doesn't specify your guys' version of things, close in your guys' way of doing things is eventually getting frustrated and just brute forcing it. So I would say we're pretty close to that.
Thanks. What about the actual solution? We're pretty far away from that one, I'm assuming.
That again is contextual.
Okay, never mind.
As far as the conversation and the choices done to try and figure this out, I would say some people have touched on correct aspects, but nothing is definitively like. It's not like when Bryn was like, we need to do something with that fucking fountain, and then completely ran 3/4 of the way there and then just stopped. Nothing that close as to figuring it out.
Okay.
She's going to get the mastermind. Summoned!
She's like,
Oh!
why did you touch me? Oh, she's
Polly's
petting the
cat
trees.
and Polly's cat, they should be unstoppable.
She is Nori. She would be petting trees.
She's petting the trees.
I was apologizing for waking her up.
So,
Well, I feel like we've done the first part of the riddle.
so far so good. Yes, you've done that part.
Our items
Oh,
were
we
missing.
haven't.
We're not doing well.
Well, our items went missing. We double checked our bags and we noticed that.
I will say
Um,
some portions of this riddle are just flavor text.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Well, that's what I'm thinking of. The courageous, swift, confident. Or
Some portions of this riddle are not flavor text.
Yeah.
Take that hint, comparing.
Astronomically helpful, thank you.
Sorry, you're this
Oh,
way
you
now.
said it right after what? right after what Thorin said. So
Hmm?
he said flavor text to the be courageous, swift, confident, and smart, and then he was like, and some of it is intended.
I would say that line, you guys have mostly gotten correct in your assumption of what it's meant.
Gotta be those things.
Okay, maybe not.
Womp womp.
No, as far as you guys dealing with this, that is some of the correct stuff that you're going to need.
Is it gonna? Oh, I wouldn't have knowledge about this either in this other timeline. But you guys remember when we were in the ship dungeon, and we had to? It was items related to the symbol, not necessarily the symbol itself.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah, we don't.
Unfortunate.
If we hit Bryn over the head, really, I'm kidding. I would do that.
Send her back.
Remember! Someone pop regenerate into Bryn's head. Regenerate the brain cells that remember.
That sounds
Clear.
painful.
It is.
I would imagine so.
Wait, you could regenerate someone's mind to bring back memories?
But
Not in a-
the space for memories stay the same.
I mean,
So you
it's
might break-
boosted and I've got it prepared.
I'm just gonna back up a little bit.
She's just like, I don't want to remember being born, thank you.
Bryn, it takes like a minute to cast. You'd be able to run away in plenty time.
Oh, he'll cast it for
Not
59
waste
seconds
a
and then
spell
just...
like that.
I would
He's like
say a
whispering
boosted
in his
regenerate used on someone's mind, you would remember everything. But you would also become absolutely mind-numbingly useless.
You basically become Nori in the first season.
Yeah, when I was feeble-minded.
No, worse. Like,
Oh,
she
you mean-
wouldn't be
No.
there.
Oh god.
She'd be
Okay, never,
completely
don't touch
catatonic.
it.
In your head the whole time.
Yeah.
Just
She'd
trapped in a
basically be
maze of your own
reliving her
memories.
life in her head.
Oh god. We have to wait for that to finish.
I would be sitting there for like however old I am, and once I finally get through all of that, I'm finally freed. Oh, that's like that is such a cool concept for like trapping someone.
Mm-hmm.
Just like an old elf, like someone who's got it's like this ancient elf, and they are unable to die. It's like, okay, we're gonna just trap you in your 1,000-year memory.
Enjoy
actually really
living your
cool.
love life over and over again.
Hey, some of that part was great.
And then watching your wife
Enjoy
die, and your
reliving
kids
every
die.
aspect of middle school.
Yep, and not
Okay.
able to make any other choices except the ones you had
Hey,
already
some
made.
of that was great.
The North Shore Beach, follow the sun. So we follow the sun here. And keep
Asking us to be confident, courageous, swift, and smart. Not in that order.
keep an eye out for the trees for which death has hung. I wouldn't assume, but there's not multiple trees where death is hung.
This one kind of seems pretty central. I
I'll
don't
go
think
ahead and
there's gonna be a
say
lot
you
of-
guys got that line right.
Hooray!
Yay! There's
Dark,
only one
horrible
tree.
lynching tree. Fantastic.
Will you? Will you? I'm thinking of the Mockingbird song now. Oh,
She's mad at me.
oh yeah. Now we're not going to get the answer at all.
Yeah, she's just upset that you haven't figured it out yet. You guys are still at the tree? God.
I had a long day at work.
All right, Big Amric coming in, swinging with his -1 to intelligence.
I believe in you, buddy.
Re-roll that.
He goes,
No, I'm
yep.
kidding.
I think we're on the right path.
Make an intelligence or history check to see if Nori knows something I do not.
There's a lot of stuff that Nori knows that you do not.
Without trying to go down a specific path, like, there's a lot of things Nori knows that you do not. So,
I mean, for the
I need
wise
a
part,
specific
and,
portion
like,
of the
trying to
mind that you
figure
try
it
to
out.
pull.
Can I see if there are any, like, or see if Polly remembers out of all the books that apparently he's not very good at reading about, like, death trees and weird gems and stuff like that, since he's actually proficient in wisdom or religion, I mean.
Sure, you can make a religion style check.
Okay.
Yeah, Nori, unless you can, like, give me at least an angle of what you're thinking of.
I perfectly understand. Oh, nice.
Lynching trees, lynching beams, hangman's noose. It's been named many different things, many different societies have used it as capital punishment. But I mean, the only god that would have anything to do with it would be Trilithia. And
Trilithia, that's your tree.
And beyond that, there's no other religious significance of the tree itself. It's more of a execution situation for trials.
There's been no, like, religious blah 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 sacrifice blah 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 gem
No.
in the eye socket blah blah blah.
No, none of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
None that, at least any of the gods that you've ever dealt with.
we're really failing at executing these trials right now.
Everyone's
Yeah, can we go back to the temple? We were so good at that.
We
I
haven't
don't
been
know
good at
about
any
so good at
puzzles.
that. So since Polly and Nori are wonderful at wisdom, would they be able to, like, say, like, if they focus on one part of the stanza, they could try to, like, figure it out with a check?
No.
No.
That would probably be the intelligence one, and apparently Rachab rolled like shit, so.
Oh, you want to touch the tree?
You've already touched the tree.
When it comes to the riddles and trying to solve them and figure them out, if you want to do it, as you guys have done, investigating, perceiving, religion, arcana, this, detect magic, that's how you guys try to figure the stanza out. Just sitting there and focusing on the verbiage of a stanza.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to.
That would be a point
I
where
don't
I'm
know.
like, sure, you can, but I'm not going to give you anything, because even though you're the player and you have characters, like, you're still your character. So unless you figure it out without me helping you, that is completely you. Now, if you as a player figure it out, but you're like, well, how would my character figure it out? I'd be like, no, don't worry about it. Your character can also have that epiphany and figure it out. But yeah, with riddles, that's sort of a thing where unless you use something like the hint, I can't.
I had to ask.
I know. I'm just explaining. Like I say, you have to give me 3 good reasons. If you guys want to do something, I always have to have 3 good reasons for why I do something. And so that's my thought process when it comes to that. I allow anything under and over the sun for you guys to do physically with your characters and do stuff, but just solving a portion of the riddle, that is completely up to your minds and the lack of caffeine and sleep.
Is Mei-chan strong enough to pull out the skulls?
No. Remember I said it's a ribcage bone that you're basically breaking through every time you pull a head out. That's more
I
than
think
10
I'm doing
pounds of
very
pressure.
well for it being 1 a.m.
Yeah.
There's a ribcage bone
that basically that's where the head is stuck into, and so to pull the skull out, that's what everyone's been breaking as they. But that's more than 10 pounds of pressure.
Okay.
Because remember, your heart's like right here. And if you're taking your skull and shoving the skull where your heart is supposed to reside, it is wedged in there.
Yeah.
So it is being propped in there by one of your rib cages that connect into your sternum.
Mm-hmm. What is it? It's inevitable to take damage from.
Medicine
we
check.
just be. Oh, okay.
Is there such a thing as like in this world a wisdom bone?
None that you would know of at least humans, dwarves, like any of the type of bodies that you would have dealt with.
Okay.
There is, but that's relegated to illithids.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't want to get anywhere near that.
Yeah, and these aren't illithid skeletons.
I know that they're attached to the tree.
Mhm.
Well, as far as that's concerned, you said that the neck bones are attached, which is really weird because the whole cartilage thing goes away after a while.
Mhm.
As far as getting the skeletons down without breaking them, is there some way to do that or no? As far as like, has the tree noose grown into them? Is that part of them or?
So it looks like whatever these ropes or vines or whatever they aren't held like nooses. They're actually wrapped through the back rib cage bones, kind of like a bowline knot. So there is no way to like slide them in or out of the ropage.
And Amric said that the magic was all connected throughout the
Correct.
skeleton, correct? Is that through the tree as well?
It's up through the vine, but not into the tree.
Not into the tree, okay.
At least not this, because there's so many. Each branch holds 4, 5, 6.
Okay, I will ask
skeletons.
everybody to stand back.
The tree is magical.
Yes, I get that.
Okay, I just didn't want you starting to chop off branches.
I don't have an axe, so you're good there.
Or hammering off branches.
It's on my back. I'm fine. Just stand back anyway. I'm probably gonna get burned or something, but I will take the hands of the skeleton.
Okay.
And use them as a secondary to pull the skull out.
So
like an
to
oven
bend them
mitt.
up and yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And see if that does anything.
You go up and try and like finagle your fingers. You're much thicker than these skeleton bone fingers, but you're like,
yes.
okay.
I'm fat, I get it. Whatever. No, I'm not. I'm stumpy. Different.
And you crack the rib bone and pull the skull out, and now you're holding it with the skeleton hands. Nothing's happened yet.
Can I put it on top?
You could try. Go ahead and give me.
I would like to do that.
Give me a dex check.
Seeing him trying that, can I go help him?
Which skeleton hand are you going to use? Or are you just using? You're muted if you're.
We can't hear you.
Sorry. Like, go over there and be like, if he can't reach it, like, I try to take over, kind of thing, because I'm taller.
He probably would have went to one that he could reach.
Gotcha.
So dexterity check.
16.
You like the arms are, because they are magically tethered. There is no cartilage, but they're magically, all the bones are in the correct place, or else yes, the feet would come off the leg. All the bones wouldn't be bones. But you kind of like as the arms are like awkwardly, moving as you're trying to, and you put it up and on the hole where the head would go. Or are you letting go of everything, or are you just holding it there?
Did anything
Once you
happen
got-
as far as like
Not yet.
did they connect at all?
To the spine.
Because you said that it was small
Friends
things, so I'm
moving.
doing it carefully, slowly. So
Yeah, I would
see
say
if they
that was
connect.
your goal, was to get it onto the top vertebrae.
Okay.
What's that, Bryn?
Bryn moved once he got it. She's like, all right, and I'm backing up in case anything goes kaboom.
Okay.
And then I will let go and run away.
So you let go, and you go to run away. Unfortunately, as you let go, your hands don't let go. As the skeleton hands that you were using as oven mitts are almost like suctioned on. And as you go to let go and run, you realize that the skeleton hands are still attached, and so you go, ugh! And you hear the of the bones dangling around as the hands go with you, and you turn around, and going against the grain of how hands should work, the bones slide across the fingers and grab your hand backwards, holding hands. And then the head, which through you doing this and the whole body sort of like getting pulled on the vine a little bit, the head is lulled back, and then it kind of lulls forward, and the emerald eyes shine green. Shing! And then as all the bones turn this sickly green color, and then just disintegrate in this cloud of mist in front of you. Go ahead and give me a con save. He's a failure. Uh, 25 points of necrotic damage.
Product, okay.
So Emerald's more like death than life.
Well, before Emerald, when it was the head explosion one, it was acid.
As far as the
Acid,
emerald,
poison, necrotic.
yeah, that's what you guys have had so far with the emeralds.
I always got to get the green ones. I'll go ahead and heal myself because that hurt.
Bryn just like raises her hand.
Nate, I mean, sounds like Polly got a different.
Did the bones detach?
Nice. What
So-
bones?
The skull, everything, it just
Bones
disintegrates.
It disintegrated into
It just
into
disintegrated.
the dust, yeah.
I mean, but that's a different reaction. We've never seen.
So maybe there is an order to what we're supposed to be doing. We just have to do it that way.
I mean, if
And I don't mind trying again. You just have to let me know which one.
it's color resorted that we resorted, specific. What words are? I mean, the only one that makes sense to start with is red because it was the first orb we had to do in the dungeon, or it was the first orb of the final pattern we had.
Okay. Then I'll walk over to a red one that I can reach and do the same thing. But instead of trying to pull away this time, I'm going to face my fears and be courageous.
Okay, it's going to require another dex check.
Of course it is.
To find a red one that's high enough for you to manipulate, you have to go decently deep into the skeletons.
Ellie trees.
You reach down and grab the bony gloves and try and move them up, and as you do so, you break the wrist of one of them, and the hand just comes free, and you're like, oh. And as you look up, the red eyes glow with this intense fire. And you're like,
Yuck!
And this time, instead, the two ruby eyes go like these tiny little red balls fly in different directions. And then two fireballs go off behind you, and one's off to your right, and then one's off to the side. You're only going to get caught by one of them, Polly, but I need everyone, including Rachaw, to make dex saving throws. Dexterity saving throw.
What are my rolls?
I'm gonna do my thing and re-roll that.
All right. Oh, that was the one she's rerolling. Okay. To the 11. Gotcha. Alrighty then. DC is 19.
Fuck.
So, fire bills.
Is it setting the trees on fire? Do I have to put those out?
Nope.
Okay.
It is
full of
staying
water.
within the radius of the clearing, but it is the fireballs went off in distances to try and cover as much ground as possible in this area.
Are the mushrooms okay?
Yes.
They're death shrooms, and you're wondering.
8.
Oh, good.
Jeez.
They're okay.
Cooked mushrooms, yum.
Don't eat those.
Okay, so for we'll do Nori, Kapoor, and Bryn. 22 if you failed,
Okay.
11 if you succeeded, and then for Chaw, Polly, Amric, 32 for fails, 16 for successes. Rachaw failed, so he takes 16 as well.
Am I able to second wind?
Yeah.
What's
Are we
everyone
in
at
magic
HP
time?
wise?
50.
Amric's at
57.
84.
I'm at half health, basically.
97.
A little left.
Rachaw's
half
at
health.
54.
Oh boy. Okay, healing time. I'm gonna do Bryn first because I feel like she'd be closer to me. Who
Rachaw
else
will-
was next to me?
Rachaw will go
I'll grab
over.
Kaparin.
I'll go over to Nori and pump a cure wounds into her.
Oh, Rachaw.
Amric will second wind as well.
Thank you, Polly.
Uh-huh.
Rachaw healed just. That's so sweet.
He feels bad for
touched.
leaving you guys, and you guys are doing all the healing for everyone else, so he wants to make sure that you guys get taken care of too.
Oh. I'm gonna give him. I get to use my new. He is classified as good now, right?
Yep.
So I get my extra little die.
Yep. 13 plus
So,
to Amric.
I'm casting as a second level, but it'll be third for the thing.
Okay.
Okay, we're still magic time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Enhance Ability on Dexterity. This is hurting real bad. And then ask everybody to go into the forest. Away from me, please.
You can choose one other person in the group to get the enhance ability.
Oh, Kaparin.
Hi.
Compare and go ahead and roll a d6.
Okay.
Rachaw gets 23.
All right.
6.
23. That puts him almost back at full.
Okay.
You get Owl's Wisdom. You have advantage on wisdom checks.
Oh.
For
Okay.
as long as Polly holds concentration on this spell.
Or till the 20 minutes is up.
Insight check everything. um. I feel like I
So
would
with-
have.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was like, well, just to go over the riddle, like I would have checked my bag pretty thoroughly by the third day
Okay.
for anything different.
Make an investigation check.
Yeah,
And that one's for
just
Bryn.
just to say I've done it and 16.
Besides the things that went missing from that other island, doesn't seem anything else. You guys get the sense that the whole double check your gear was to let you
'Cause
know
it's disappeared.
some stuff
Yeah.
had probably disappeared.
I figured it was just. I figured as much. I just wanted to. Yeah, I checked it off.
And while you
Okay.
guys slept, Rachaw checked a lot of your guys' gear as well.
Thanks, Rachaw, for being the bag checker. Rachaw's really the bag man.
Wouldn't be surprised.
He's the
He's
non-magical
the
bag man.
successor.
There's Krampus, and then there's Santa Claus. There's Bagman, and there's Rachaw. Rachaw will just leave shoes in people's bags.
Sucking.
As he does.
They're going through like their bags. It's like, why are there 15 left shoes? Where are the right ones?
They go to put something in their bag of holding. It's only like the third day that they've had it, and just denies them, and they're like, "What?" And it's just like, I get a sense that it's full. And they're just trying to pull stuff out, like, what is in here that is taking up all this room? And they just don't know to think of shoe until they get to like clothing, and then they go, clothing, and they reach in and pull out a shoe, and they go, clothing, another shoe, clothing, another shoe. There's 64 cubic feet of shoes.
It's not
ahead,
even
Polly.
like he bought them en masse. It looks like he just bought all. No, they're all unique shoes. Some of them look like they've been worn.
For many years.
Yes.
All right, everybody in the tree line. I'm gonna try this again.
Okay.
Behind the
Hey.
trees.
Yes,
Can
with
I-
another red one.
It's like I want to look for stuff on the floor, but it only talks about.
We could
There's
be just
always-
looking at the tree, and we're looking at it at the wrong time of day.
Red one that's at a height where you could handle it, Polly. I'm so glad I put heights on all these.
I'm impressed with your spreadsheet.
Okay, there's
You
one.
meant-
There's one last red one that you could handle, Polly.
If I
Did I
stand on my
ever-
bedroll, can I reach it?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that would just make it harder to do.
It's definitely like being like, I'm gonna put this foot of memory foam underneath my feet, and then he stands on it and just sinks and gets like an extra inch out of it. But hey, it's another inch, so he'll take what he can get. And go ahead and give me that dex check. As it's
Wait,
showing-
that's with your advantage?
yeah, it's 1 and a 10 that he rolled.
Yes, the other one was a 1.
Oh my god. Can I make him re-roll it?
You are in the tree line, which is about 50 feet away.
Got it, never mind.
I think your thing is 30 feet, right?
Yeah, you said 30.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. So that one. Okay, its DC is over here. Okay. You grab the wrists and you're like, okay. Save. Okay, here we go. And then you grab the side of the head and you're like, all right, okay. And crack. And as soon as you crack, the skull just ding, 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 ding. You're like, oh shit, and you're trying to, but you accidentally in the moment let go of the gloves, and grab it. And as you do, it sort of does like almost like a spinning a basketball on a finger. It like spins in your palm for a moment before the eyes just lock with yours, and the jaw opens up, and like Nori had dealt with before, a torrent of fire just directly in your face.
I hope Rigo your beard hair layer.
18 points of fire damage. Next time I do something like this, I'm just gonna roll all the damage ahead of time.
That'll be your next column in your spreadsheet.
No, because when I have it set up, so when I click it, it flips and tells me what it does and everything. So I'll just put the damage number next to it as well. It's like the best memory game for me.
I physically can't do this.
I know. Alright, well, I was gonna say I wanted to like look at the ground. Are there any markings?
Make an investigation check.
Do the mushrooms show any weird patterns? That'd be interesting.
Make a intelligence check, Caparin.
It's a 13.
Nothing.
Big numbies.
What area of this place are you looking for?
Like around where we walked in. Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, no. There's no pattern to the mushrooms.
I use this. I'm using a different digital, and I've never seen a nat 20 on this one, and that was really cool.
Oh, it did a little effect.
Yeah.
What portion of the? I mean, because you were told to stay in the forest. So
Sorry.
are you checking the tree line? Are you checking?
Oh, I'm done. You can
No.
check whatever you want now. I'm walking away from that fucking tree.
Nori.
What are you checking? What floor are you
Oh,
checking?
me. Essentially, what I wanted to do is where we appeared from.
Okay.
The pathway, to the tree.
Okay, the direct line to the tree from there. No, nothing stands out as beyond natural or man-made or anything like that. The moss, and comparing, checking the geometry of the mushrooms and the pathing and the color coordination, cannot find any sort of pattern or interesting diagrams created by the mushrooms.
It looks like if you lick one, you're gonna see some pattern.
He's like, really? Really? I'll find a pattern if I lick one?
Do not. That one will kill you instantly. Well, not instantly, but close.
I'm gonna laugh. The answer is either there's all these psychedelic mushrooms and you should have eaten one, or we're just here at the wrong time of day. I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
Polly, do you want me to try what you did with one of the other ones?
I mean, it's up to you, but it's not as easy as it looks.
I believe
I don't
that.
even know how I did it the first time.
She'll look around at the other people like, anybody want to say no? Don't do it?
Amrit just
Bryn?
says, well, you're the leader.
No, fuck off.
I'll try. Kaporin will try. I guess he will.
Amrik will say no. Amrik, who has some of the highest HP, will give at least a single try.
It's a dex thing, not an HP thing. That's the problem.
That just means that he can take more damage. That was pretty much the whole point of him. That and having resistance to cold damage was the reason why he was the one that tried so many things back when you guys dealt with the cold orb. He's like, all right, just stand in there. Now touch it with one finger. Now hold on to it for a second. He was the guinea pig because he had the most HP.
Just, he's a paladin fighter. He's a tank.
Mm-hmm. So he'll go over and will take one of the blue ones. walks up. That one would be about head height. Dex check. He grabs the hands and immediately just pulls both the arms out of the sockets. And just, like, over his shoulder goes, "This isn't good, right?" And
Nope.
No.
then where the skeleton and everything is, it just drops and impacts the ground. And as it does so, it turns into like this gelatinous situation as it just goes and consumes Amric. And Amric is now floating inside this thing as he starts to take damage.
Great. Is this like the same gelatinous cube that stole all the magic gear?
No, it's not a gelatinous cube.
Or like the gelatinous... What was it? Was it gelatinous? The last thing that tried to steal, that sucked the magic out of our gear?
26.
Orb of asshole damage.
So he
More
takes
sense in my head than it did out loud.
26 points. Actually, he is...
Yeah, can somebody do this that has a high dex that we can heal? That isn't costing us a shit ton of money.
I remember Charles' dex, but I think...
26 points of damage to Emery before the goop dissipates.
Okay.
Emmerich will...
Rachel would be the one who'd be able to dodge most of the things, but his con sucks.
I can try the.
Yeah, but I can heal him.
Emmerich will go ahead and use 25 points of his lay on hands.
I can try the one that did the cold damage.
Sapphires?
That's what Emmerich just did, and it did not do cold damage.
Oh, that's right.
They probably don't respond to the too closely to the gem color, but they do have certain effects because of the stupid enchantments that Emmerich said that they have.
As Emmerich makes his way away from the tree, you guys realize that before he even makes it all the way back to you guys, those skeletons that you guys have pulled down and destroyed are reappearing.
Where?
With the same eye color?
From the branches, almost like seed pods from living vines. These new skeletons get technically burst out of these branches and hung from these rope-like vines until they come to a stop from their swaying. And
I
so
hate it here.
all the skeletons are back.
All of the skeletons are back?
Over time, yep. Yay, Control Z.
Great.
Oh, goodness gracious. We got a lovely raid, and we're sitting here unable to
Hi, guys.
puzzle. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, yes, thank you for the raid. Welcome to trying to solve riddles in D&D.
Can we say the riddle and have them help?
Sure.
I mean, it's just one riddle, to be honest.
Corn, you can post
Yeah.
the riddle in chat.
All right. Hold on, chat. We're gonna...
If you want to help with the riddle, you can. If not, we're equally confused.
Amric is completely confused with that intelligence check. He's like, my mind. It reads error.
You would read error now, wouldn't it?
It reads 404. Sub not found. Intelligence modifier not applied. Please reboot.
Call tech support.
Who's tech?
Bella!
And why do we need their support?
Bella!
Sorry, we're outside working hours.
Can I beg Richard to try one?
Yeah, but Chuck can try one. What color do you want him to try? They're all back now, so he can technically choose one of any color that he can.
He's the smartest one among us. He's the one that should choose. He's got the best decks of everybody, and I don't want to.
Okay. He will just go to the nearest one that is his height. That's the main problem. Is you took a lot of the height ones out of the picture.
You said they grew back.
I did up until this point. That was his problem. He didn't have, and with Kaporin saying choose a red one first, he's gonna choose a red one. But you had taken all the red ones out already, so he was SOL.
Diamond ones, but
So he's going to a red one. There we go. Rich Shaw, dexterity check. 17. He's able to get the head out, get the head on. And he's just holding it there. What do I do now?
Look that bastard in the eye.
Arrgh! Nothing's happening.
Shit.
Will the
Are
head
we
stay in
supposed
place?
to put it somewhere?
No, we're supposed to all do it at the same time. God damn it.
Are we?
There's 4 different ones, and if his hasn't gone off yet,
Okay. I guess Nori will go and grab a green one.
Dex check.
Oh gosh.
Bryn, are you saying no before she gets there?
yes,
Okay.
I'll
Nori
do
will
that
stop.
one.
Okay.
You get no, and then you get your head palmed as she just pulled you back. And it's like,
I
let
was
me do
gonna
it.
choose one that we already knew was poison damage so that I wouldn't take
No,
anything.
when it disintegrated, it wasn't.
Oh, it's different for the disintegration?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So it was necrotic damage is what Polly took.
And do you
Well,
think I'm going to keep
a-
them the same?
You know, maybe. Fuck
You don't
off,
think I have
Val.
multiple options?
Val! Stop it! Fine, Nori, do which one you want.
I don't care anymore.
Chat has come up with a suggestion, by the way. They say that this location will be our biggest fear, and if you lose your cool, you lose. So go in the sun's direction to the hangman's tree.
They're at
So
the
we did
hangman's.
go in the sun's direction, but it's sun as in father son.
S-O-N.
Yep.
And
Son
we are
of
at the
forest.
hangman's tree, yeah.
So, Bryn?
And should
What's our biggest fear, Death?
No.
my
Family
father.
time.
Hey, I was close.
Everyone in this group, it's family time.
Everyone is deeply afraid of seeing their family again.
I mean, at this point,
Tree,
it's like
I
a
can-
double entendre. It's our family and then this family we've created at this point.
Yeah.
We're deeply
Like
afraid of
any-
the people we
any-
care about.
Yeah, any downtime, we're like, nope, can't do that.
Mr. Skeleton, I find you as part of my family, and I'm gonna hold you.
So, who's
Hold you
going what,
tenderly.
doing where? Racha is still just holding this skull on top of this head.
I think Nori said she was doing a green one.
Go ahead.
I can do an air one because if you're immune to necrotic, I was just gonna go for poison, but whatever one. I guess I'll do an
I'm
air
gonna
one.
go
That
in
way,
the
if I get
hopeful-
yeeted into the sky, I'll be okay.
But going with the hopeful thing of he didn't change them, and that I am going to succeed on this dex check.
Go ahead and what color are you doing?
Going for the green one for me.
Okay, you're going for the green one that specifically did the necrotic damage earlier, right?
Oh, sure. Let's just make sure.
Do an intelligence check to see if you can remember.
Mother
Actually,
fucker.
do a history check to see if you can remember exactly which one was.
that is not nice.
There's a lot of skeletons here, guys.
Nope.
It was so close to a 20, and then it just went. else again.
So she went to a green one.
Good luck. Dex check.
Make that dex check.
I believe in you.
I believe in the game. She reaches down and she's like, okay, I'm supposed to grab a hand and then, so not quite Amric and yeeting both the arms off at once. You're trying to like palm the hand just right, but your hand's a bit bigger than the hand of this individual, and so it's taking you a moment to like really grab it just right, and then you get it and you're like, yes, and you turn around and you go, got it, and then you turn back around and you realize the arm's just hanging loosely from the skeleton. Just, oh, bitch. And then these vines shoot out from it, impacting you. You take?
Good old acid vines. Well, it might be something else. Who knows?
25 points of acid damage.
Acid vines.
Then, Rachaz. In his face, as he has been holding this fire skull directly in front of his face, as he was told to stare it in the eye. And the jaw just opens, and he's like, oh, and this torrent of fire.
Does he get a dexterity save?
I've never had anyone roll dex saves for this one. You didn't roll a dex save when you got it and hit in the face.
Oh, you just get hit in the face. Okay.
It's directly in front of your face.
So we all got to be successful at this.
17, ouch, 22 points of fire damage for Rachaw.
Why are there so many?
I rolled great. I've been rolling shit for damage for most of you guys, like 1s and 2s for a lot of the rolls, and then now I'm starting to roll good.
Okay.
Good.
How much damage did the poor bird take?
22.
Oh, dear me.
And how much did you take, Bryn?
25 acid.
5.
Okay. I got Racha.
I'll do, Bryn.
You guys want to try something and just wait until nighttime?
Paul, hey, Coparin. We are in a weird, twisted forest, and this tree has skeletons hanging off of it. I don't want to stay here any longer than we have to.
36, Bryn.
But things have happened in the night.
I thought you were going to Racha.
That's what I meant. 36 Racha.
Okay.
Okay, 36 to Rachaw. Rachaw is full health.
$16.
Again, obligatorily as the DM, I do have to let you know that there is a heavenly hint if case it is needed.
And 20 more, Bryn.
Sweet.
We have a left leg and a femur and what? A skull?
Currently inside the chest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left leg, femur, and skull. Are any of them missing bones?
No?
All the skeletons are complete.
Mm-hmm.
What was the order that we had for what's its bucket? The
Fire, water, earth, and ice. But something's telling me that it's not in so much relation to that because Val didn't even have that saved anywhere. So, but that's a meta thought.
Well, grabbing fire worked, and all of us need to succeed on dex checks. Polly, do you still have any more enhance abilities? Could you give dex to everyone?
Rachaw just goes over to Nori and grabs her and goes, guidance!
I still have mine up.
Nori goes and pats Rachaw on the head and goes, guidance! I give him guidance too.
Right.
All together then?
He doesn't actually have guidance, just FYI.
Well, I gave him guidance.
Well, Amric comes over and gives you guidance because he was that's what Rachaw was.
Amric, you stand over there, because we don't want you getting hurt because you are expensive to fix.
Here, chew on a platinum.
I mean,
So
I
who's gonna
have
do it?
healing as well.
Oh,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
And then he just walks
We
away.
love you, buddy.
Don't let the robot do anything.
Who's gonna do it?
Right, who wants to grab
try.
what?
Amric was about to come over and be like, well, I have Bless, I have Cure Wounds,
wait. Yeah, he does have Bless and Cure Wounds. Bless would be helpful.
No, I'm just gonna go over here.
Amric!
I mean,
Bless
technically
doesn't
it'd
work
be
for. Does it work for skill checks?
It works for saving throws.
Yeah.
technically Amric would be such great to have because he has a +4
Saves
to save. I mean,
within 10 feet.
He's just expensive to repair.
Yes, he is.
So
So who's doing this?
he'll give a Bless out.
It goes to 3 people.
Yeah, well, it goes to everyone.
Oh, sick.
Boosted.
everyone
So we all have Bless.
Yep. it's
Richaw
actually
has Guidance.
D4 for saving throws.
Mhm.
And Richaw has guidance.
We'll go ahead and
Who's
try.
doing this?
Foreign will try one.
Richaw's been yelled at, so he will do this.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Who else?
Foreign will do a diamond.
Wait.
I'll do one.
Okay, Nori.
I'll do one.
Okay, give me a
I
second.
can. Richaw's doing fire.
Well,
I can do-
Richaw, he was gonna do fire.
Whatever one he can reach.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was gonna do fire, but the fire one that he was holding earlier that seemed to work is no longer there. So he's like, do I just choose any fire one then?
So I will cast Enhance Ability at 6th level, and all 4 of you have Cat's Grace.
Cool.
All right.
Sure.
Advantage on dex checks.
So, do we want to go to the one that we think would be the best if we fail, or are we going to be confident and go for the ones that just go?
Let's do confident.
Let's do the
Pick
ones you
your
can
favorite.
reach. I'll stand back
Confident
with
that you
Amric
can
out of the way.
reach.
Richaw will go up to a. So you guys trying to obviously to the ones you reach, but the only people who have problem reaching anything is Polly and Richaw.
Richaw.
Okay, so I'm fine.
You would be fine. So who's all involved in this?
Foreign
Richaw,
Bryn.
Coparin.
and Nori.
Richaw, Bryn, Caparin, and Ori?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are you guys trying to stay near each other, but still choosing ones that you can grab?
Damage-wise, I would say no, in case everything goes off. We don't all just die immediately. I mean, unless because we don't have Amric nearby, right? We're telling him to go to the sideline.
Amric's
We
just
can heal.
thumbs
It'll
up
be okay.
from the distance.
So,
Hey, don't worry, we'll run in if need be.
so I guess the 4 of us will be somewhat nearby.
Okay. So that way you guys can coordinate doing things at the same time. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And what colors are we grabbing? Mainly this one being Richaw has to choose one of
Each
his
one.
size. So once he gets to one of a color that you want him to take, then you guys can pick ones around him.
You can't have first pick then, because it sounds like he has the.
He's like, that doesn't
limitation.
help me. There's like a few that I can grab. I need to know what color you guys
Is
want me to
there
do.
one of each color that he could grab?
Yes.
Okay.
Multiples, actually.
Well, the fire thing kept working, so let's start with fire.
Okay.
Because it immediately attacked, the ice one immediately attacked Coparin. So far, fire has at least waited when it was pulled first.
Okay. So he will go to one of the fire ones that Polly had grabbed earlier. Okay. That one
So
has-
fire. I'm sorry.
And for the other 3 of you, what colors would you like?
We all have. No, we don't have water breathing anymore. Cycled out of magic.
Yeah.
I'll take the blue one then this time.
I'll take
go with the green
diamond.
one.
Blue, green, and then white for Caparin?
Yep.
Okay. Richaw will start. Here we go. Got Dex. It's got an advantage on it.
And a D4.
Yep. I'm getting to it. So he is deft and swift and successful at cracking the rib, using the skeleton hands as oven mitts to take the head out and place it on top, and is currently there again, holding the head on. Who's next?
Nori, your guidance has been used. You can give it again.
Can I give it to Bryn
Sure.
and have her go next?
Yep.
All right. I'm going next, I guess.
Okay. Dexterity check.
Advantage and a D4. Beautiful.
Bryn, as well, grabs the hands, pops the skull out of the rib cage, places it gently on top of the body, is sitting there staring at it for a moment. Seems to have worked.
Okay. Guidance to Coparin.
Guys, comparing.
Wasn't I last in the order?
Earth
Or are we
is
just-
last in the order.
Oh, okay.
I
I'll go
think,
ahead.
right?
Yeah.
Earth or
think so.
air? That was supposed to be at the end.
I think it was
It was
Air.
green and white. Green then white.
Oh, so
in the
Earth
Oh,
is
sorry.
previous
next?
Nori
order.
would be next.
Earth, isn't it?
Okay.
So you can
Do I
cast
guidance myself or
up to you.
Or keep it on him. It depends on you.
I'll say with the use of
Uh,
magic, when you've been casting guidance, you've also been guiding yourself.
Okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
it disappears the next turn afterwards. So once someone uses it, like when Racha used it, it disappeared on you 6 seconds later. But
So you have to be
Okay.
quick.
so if you cast it on Kaporin, you would have it, but once you use it, Kaporin would immediately have to go after you, or else he loses it as well.
Okay. We'll just have to time it well.
Yeah, that's the plan anyway. So
Okay.
One, 2.
Nori's like, let me go first. Not at the same time. All right, Nori, dex check.
Grateful for that advantage.
That is your first roll. Go ahead and add the d4. You grab the skull with the oven mitts of the bony fingers of this skeleton, pop it out, put it on. Compare and go.
Oh,
Dex check.
Advantage, go.
All right. D4 for your guidance.
21.
You grab the hands, pop the skull, put it up quickly, and put it on the head. All of you are
Okay.
still holding the skulls on, waiting. Nothing has happened yet.
just gonna hold steady for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They
Is
like
it the thing that it did to Polly where it grabs it? If we're staying there?
I tried to
Not
pull
yet.
away.
He pulled away, and
Does that mean we all have to do it?
Wait, what do you mean? I'll have to do what?
let go.
No, do you all
No,
have to
you
let
all
go, or
have
do
to
we
do it.
all have to do it? Like all 6 of us have to do it.
Oh, each one of us grab a skull.
I don't know. Maybe. All I'm thinking is that in the previous like dungeons with the orbs and stuff, it was supposed to be made for one person to be able to do.
correct.
I would say
Bryn.
We already did this.
I say Rachel would
Hi.
let go first, and we just go in the order that we know of.
Maybe just let go instead of trying to pull
Or-
away. I don't know.
So everyone
Like
try
we
to-
all drop it at the exact same time. Like the 3, 2, 1. Or can I
guess.
make a perception check? Is there anything magically glowing?
Nope.
Did things change?
Your passive
Nothing.
perception hasn't picked up on any movement or change at all, besides the physical
Alright.
act of moving the skulls from inside the chest cavities to the tops.
I have
Sounds
to dip
good.
soon, so
Yep, we're gonna be
Alright.
ending once the decision gets made of what happens here.
I'm gonna say that we just let go in order that we've been trying to complete, or we all let go at the same time.
choose one, buddy. It's your quest.
Everyone release at the same time.
Okay. Count
Or-
down.
No, Caborn would stick to his guns. He'd be like, Red goes first. Red, and we'll go in the same order we picked them up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3.
Rachel, let's go. As soon as that happens, he goes, ugh. The hands that were holding the side of the head slide down as they go limp, and then they dart forward and grab the back of his head. The chest cage opens up, and you see these almost like what are they called? The Maid, Iron Maiden. Except
Oh, God.
instead of metal spikes, they are molten spikes, and it pulls Rachel in. All three of you to the back of the head. Chest cages open up. But instead, for Bryn, you see, instead of iron spikes or even the molten spikes that Rachel has, it's just this gusting of air as you feel these little punctures start to happen. As you get pulled closer and closer in. Just these little jets of air just puncturing you over and over and over again. Nori, you start to get pulled in, and you just feel portions of your skin burning away as acid is just... In Caparin, you get pulled in. Sorry, Bryn, yours was water jets. Caparin's is air jets. As they start to pierce his skin through his armor. So, since everyone's taking roughly the same thing, you're all going to get the different damage types, but you'll take the same amount of damage altogether.
Sorry.
24 points of your relegated damage. Rachel gets fire. Bryn, you technically get piercing. Nori, you get acid. And Caparin, you technically get piercing as well.
I'm going to use absorb elements to potentially get rid of all of that.
Okay.
Will it just half it?
So, as you use absorb elements again, your hands all of a sudden ignite with flame from the fire damage that you had consumed earlier. They had been relegated and residualized inside your body, becoming its own little magical source. And as you do so, you send out small jets of flame from each palm.
Back!
Now, I would let people make dexterity saving throws, but everyone is currently Iron Maidened. So, luckily, the skeletons are going to mitigate half the damage. So it's as if you succeeded on the dex saves already. But the closest people would be Caparin and Bryn.
Mm-hmm.
Should have just
So that is
taken the
8 points of
damage.
fire damage for the two of you.
Okay.
What happens to me?
You don't take the acid damage. But you have a good sense of,
Don't
okay,
spit acid at me.
I'm going to... Next time I do absorb elements, acid's going to come out from somewhere.
Yeah, so the next time she does that, she's going to walk like 50 feet away from everyone, and then like take her own acid claw and sink it into her skin, just like, all right, let's do this.
All right. So with that, after this chaos, Amric and Polly sort of just wait until everything's calmed down and run.
And then I'll pop off a mask cure wounds.
Okay, just as Amric's about to touch it, he's like, no, I got this! And mass cure wounds to you guys, and everyone heals for 39 points, which puts Chaw back to full.
Dude, that's just stupid. But great.
Bryn's at full.
I'm at
Or-
full.
Bernori's at full.
I'm not at full.
Caporan's getting there.
I'm 91 out of
there too.
100.
Lauren's full of himself. It's fine.
Oh,
But
yeah,
with
that's true.
that, the skeletons that you guys had all coalesced around all have disintegrated as well with the this Iron Maiden effect. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session. Yeah. So some good things done, some not so good things
What
done.
good things?
You found the son of the forest. You found
That's
the
it.
tree.
Gosh, thanks.
Hey,
I only got that because I fucking crit. That
Crits
wouldn't
are
have
nice.
happened had I not.
All right,
Uh,
everyone. See you Thursday.
have a
I
good
need to
week
go to
of parry.
bed.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. If I don't talk to y'all before then, have a great week. And we'll be back at this. At least we'll be back at this with a full crew. So maybe they'll have a random insights or take on it. I'll make Amric watch the recap or the VOD. So that way he knows.
Make Raw do it too, please.
I don't have that
This
much.
is your
voice.
homework.
But at least there'll be a couple more minds to bounce that single brain cell around between everyone.
Thanks.
It's more because of the time at night. But
Is it though? It
gonna say,
could
that's really
possibly be the
nice.
riddle. It's the time of night.
with
Both.
that, you guys have a great night, and I'll see you Thursday.
Night.
Night,
Night.
y'all.
Thank you all for those of you that stayed with us. Thursday, 9:30 PST is our next session for this group, and then on Sunday we have Group 2, where our fabulous Shinobi is one of the players, and that's at 9:30 PST. Today's group for Monday and Thursday is at 9 p.m. PST. So definitely feel free to stop by, say hello, and hang out with us as they try to solve this riddle and Group 2 gets underway with their new campaign. But thanks for staying with us. Have a safe night. Have a great night. Stay safe. I'm tired. And see you next time.